next generation of Detroit sports media is here. Crunch Time is back on Woodward Sports. Join Jeff Iafrate and Booner Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Taking Detroit sports coverage to the next level with massive interviews, viral moments, and the best live reactions. Get ready, Detroit. The young guns are taking over. Crunch Time on Woodward Sports.
Woo! Javonte Green!
He's back.
Feel the electricity in the air. You know what? What up, though, people? It's Crunch Time. Obviously, not Jeff Iafrate and not Boone Squad. You got a young legend over here in Caleb, and it's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid. And, you know, we got to bring the booth into the business as well. I'm going to start over here with somebody who I haven't done this for in a long time.
Come on, bro.
Man. The magnificent,
Come on, bro.
incredible, the immaculate.
Keep it going.
The great.
Don't stop.
Best in the game. MVP.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year. Man, look, and soon when that whole bar is filled up back there, y'all going to see up on the mantle all of the greatness of KG. That is our dog in the TD booth. Black Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
Hey, when we get the bar, I'm going to be doing audio from back there, too. So just look forward to that. But nah, man. Hey, is this Crunch Time or the Woo Crew? I can't tell,
You know
man.
what?
I can't tell. I can't tell.
Hey, you know what? Somebody who's definitely endeared himself here because all he does is work and win. That's our dog, Gordon.
G-Don.
What up, though?
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. It's a magnificent Friday. I wouldn't say a skeleton crew, but you know, I look at an opportunity like this as, well, exactly that, an opportunity. So we got a few different shows that I'm gonna be on today, so I'm excited.
I used to look at it as an opportunity as well. Now I'm just like, what the hell?
Shout out to Platty Dog in the back. That's the ball,
Shout
though.
out.
You know, and
Platty!
I love it too, man. Just can you show the people full uniform?
Platty Pods,
Full
man. Come on,
uniform.
show the people,
Full
man.
uniform.
Show the
Oh, I
people,
love it.
man.
Oh, I love it.
Platty Pods.
Show them, dog.
Ready to ball. Let's go. Just like
I
2K.
heard roster spots are open.
We need a center, Platty.
Yeah.
No.
We need a center.
And I gotta say, shout out to
I give
Caleb.
you more effort than Drummond.
Cap.
That's how we
Drum and
start
stray.
our day.
Drum and stray.
Our former All-NBA third-team center. Come on, Platty. But no, look. Shout
Rebound
out to
guy.
our dog Caleb here, who put a lot of work as well into the show sheet. Can't wait to get into this one, man.
Oh, boy,
And
Caleb on the desk. Stop
Yeah.
playing. This is big,
I'm
bro.
happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'm happy
man.
to be here on this Friday. Look,
Go.
I'm coming off a tough loss yesterday. I don't know if you guys.
In the glizzy off, yeah.
The glizzy off, lost to Booner. But shout out to
Oh,
chat. You guys
no.
got 150 likes like 3 times this week, so we had to do it. Coming off a tough loss, but happy to be here with the fellas. We got a big show today.
Chat's been
Definitely
popping.
happy to be here, man. Look, just off the road. It was probably like 2 hours ago. Got in from Florida.
Yeah.
Got it from the OBL league. That is
Ooh-wee.
the Ones Basketball League. Founder T-Mac. And some of the team owners were there. Jada Kiss was in the building.
Shout out Jada, yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Brown and his brother Quentin Brown were in the building. We were all there when the news broke.
Yeah.
It's one of the weirdest things to be around. Muggsy Bowles is one of the team owners as well.
Shout
as
out,
the
legend.
Shout
Tim Hardaway and Quinn Cook. Oh, me and Quinn
Yes.
Cook are homies now, too.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, he called me his dog.
You was out there bumping elbows, Jalen Brown's brother. You had insight that we ain't even have, Kool-Aid, man.
Hey, man, look, it was pretty epic opportunity, and you know what? We also got Quentin Brown to shout out Woodward Legacy. It's a collaboration of
Yes.
things that we have on the way here, too. So it was dope to be able to go out there and really put boots on the ground for what this means for our network, for our content, and what we can bring to people for certain.
Love it. That's a quick turnaround. 2 hours, man. Kool-Aid, respect.
Hey,
Hard-working man.
This is the grind, man. This is everybody here.
Holiday weekend.
This is everybody here, brother.
Yeah,
And that's what I love.
Holiday
I think
season.
that's what makes this team work. That's what makes this network great as well. And I wanted nothing more than to be in here with the fellas and to be able to help out our dogs as well.
Yeah.
Jeff Iafrate and Boone Squad. You know what? It's crazy to have a show where we got Black Hollywood and Hollywood on the same show.
crazy,
Shout out to
bro.
KG and Iafrate. But some of that news, man.
Yeah, you got to tell us about these Pistons, because what the hell is going on right now?
You know what? We came into an offseason where I believed at worst maybe some augmentation around what worked here.
Yeah.
And instead, Trajan Langdon has been true to form, bro. He came into the offseason saying, we are prioritizing building around our big three, our core three. We all presume that to be Kay Cunningham, obviously, Asar Thompson, because we've known they want to sign him back and get him before you run into the same situation you're in with Duren right now, and the aforementioned Jalen Duren. What we've seen them do, I thought that, Stu Harris, Tobias Harris, who stepped up big time, I thought these guys would still be on the team, but maybe take a little bit of a role reduction. Instead, they literally are just rebuilding around the core three, and everybody else is expendable. Everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, we get the news of Javonte Green back on a one-year vet minimum, $3.95 million $3.95 million deal. And that's surprising to me because everybody else, including Tobias Harris, is effectively on the way out that made major contributions to this team winning 60 games and 44 the year before that.
Yeah, Tobias Harris was a guy that we talked about. Like, when you were in for a couple shows, we talked about him. Like, is this a guy you want to bring back? He's been a good veteran presence for you the past 2 years. Sucks to see him go. He did make those comments, Kool-Aid. I don't know if you saw him. He said the reason he wanted to go there, I think he is from Texas, right? So that was one of the things. And another thing is he said they were both lockstep on kind of the sense of urgency of wanting to win a championship. I know you guys talked about it on the heavyweights, Platty. I don't know if that's necessarily a shot at the Pistons. But, yeah, he did say that the sense of urgency that the Spurs have to win a championship. But Kool-Aid, this re-signing of Javonte Green, I love it. Cheap deal. This is a guy that, and me and Chris were talking about in the back, like, this is a guy that's going to eat up. I know he didn't play a lot in the playoffs, but this is a guy that's going to eat up minutes for you in the regular season, take loads off your other wings. So, they can get a little bit of rest in the regular season. And he's no scrub. Like, this is a guy that shot 38% from three last year, 17 minutes per game. He's a good defender. He can guard, 2 through 4, versatile defender, and they got him on a cheap deal. And that's just another veteran presence they have in this young locker room. I love it.
What it shows you is it's not just necessarily because I wanted to revisit those comments from Tobias Harris in terms of what might be a shot, the legitimacy of how fast the Pistons may or may not be moving compared to the Spurs. Now, obviously, the Spurs have an alien in Wemby, but I don't think that you should discount a player like Cade Cunningham, who I believe is going to step into that much closer of a final form of a superstar. We saw him step into top 5 MVP voting in the NBA this year. There was a lot of people who thought that there was going to be a regression with a Cade Cunningham. So, no, I think that what we see with the Pistons right now is them believing that Cade Cunningham is what really pushed this Pistons team to what we saw this year, not just during the regular season, but in the playoffs. When everybody else honestly fell off, we did see Cade Cunningham still continue to go out there and get buckets and assists. Do we want to see those turnovers go down? Look, I'm at a point now where I do know this. Those turnovers are going to go down based on what is put around him at this point in time. If you keep Cade Cunningham in a position where every single playoffs he's having to go out there and take a lion's share, plus then go steal another lion's share to be able to make sure that the Pistons have just at least a chance to be in it at the end, then these are the things that you're going to see. Doubles and triple teams. Whenever a squad can triple team you successfully, your star player, that's a problem with your personnel as well as your game plan. And you got to figure that out when you got a player as good as Cade, who when the playoffs ended was still the leading playoff points per game scorer, 28.1 points.
Yeah, and what makes it even more impressive, and you just alluded to it, is he did that with kind of a lack of spacing here. And we'll get more into the offseason and roster construction here as the show goes on. Yeah. But now you have, you bring back Kevin Huerter, who I will say, a lot of people kind of poo-pooed. A lot of people kind of poo-pooed that move. Kevin Huerter, he was hurt for the playoffs. Was he not?
He got hurt for the playoffs.
Yeah, he got hurt for the playoffs. So I know he didn't get a lot of tick in the playoffs, but getting him on a $9 million deal, like two years ago, this guy was a 40% three-point shooter from three. So that's a guy that could add spacing. They're rumored to keeping Duncan Robinson, who is a 40% three-point shooter. You bring in a guy in Isaiah Joe, a 40% three-point shooter. So you could run lineups where it's just everybody get the fuck out of the way, everybody play around the perimeter,
see what I'm talking about.
Cade Cunningham, do your thing, and you drive to the hoop. There's going to be open shooters around you. So as far as spacing goes this offseason, I think Trajan Langdon has really, really helped out a guy like Cade Cunningham. And his resurgence in the playoffs and him becoming an MVP caliber player is going to bring other players to Detroit is a more intriguing spot for free agents. Players are going to want to come here and play with a guy like Cade Cunningham.
So I got one quick question.
I had to just do the thundersticks of approval for my dog Caleb.
Thank you.
You love it right now.
You might not have thundersticks of approval for this, because one thing that did make me question the Kevin Huerter signing, which I thought was a little rich, just like how I like my potato salad, right? Shout out potato salad.
That's fair, especially given that Javonte actually performed for this team and he got 1 year, 3.9.
Well, and that's not even what I was going off of. I was going to go off of the recent deal we just saw, Anthony Simons going to the Philadelphia 76ers for a 2-year, $12.6 million deal. So you're getting Anthony Simons, who's a better player than Kevin Huerter, at, what, $3 million less a year?
You're right. You're right. And that's where I'm wondering, what is it that they see in Kevin Huerter? Like, to me, I'm wondering, okay, Trajan Langdon, what is it that you know that we don't know? Were there flashes that I appreciated from effectively a scrap pickup? Yes. But when you're going and you're giving him the money and he's not just a throw-in or a fill-in for a deal, I do wonder, what prompts at least that level of contract? I understand the level of belief, hey, let's have him on the squad, but when you do see some of the other money that goes around, I do wonder just why. Do they believe that Kevin Huerter can revert back to his old form? You know, because there is a version of Kevin Huerter that if he gets back to the one we know, you know, shooting, he can shoot from pretty much any angle, arm slot, any angle, off ball movement, off of screens and all that type of stuff, as well as the pump fake, one dribble and pull up. He's not just a stationary type of player. And so if he's on, then yeah. You know, when I first heard the name, there was a version of OG or old school me that was like, oh, Kevin Huerter. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's a name I feel like I ain't heard in a decade, it almost felt like. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they think, because I do tend to lean towards Gordo's perspective of it. Do I agree that, yes, they have, I think they've improved their professional outside shooting? Yes. The potential for them to have much more spacing around K. Cunningham and to be able to break up some of what teams were able to do to pack that paint and take away the lob connection, yes, I do believe that they're in a better position that way. And maybe, just maybe, they're positioning themselves that way while they're not taking away their actual financial flexibility to still swing a big deal if there's one to be made. Trajan Langdon said something very, very key at the press conference. Two things. He said, we have players that we target that are going to be in free agency. They have to want us. Then we have players that are on the teams that we know would love an opportunity to be here, but those other teams are going to want to have to help us, and because of how good we are right now, they're not trying to just help us.
Yeah.
And so we've heard of interest. This is where it is interesting with the Trajan Langdon thing. We've heard of interest from other players, and I know we're going to get into this a little bit later, but has that necessarily been facilitated by those other squads? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where, with the things that we know Trajan can control, that's where I do look at a Javonte Green signing. I say, you know what? I do appreciate that signing. Is it the one that everybody wants? No. We're going to get there. Believe me, I see y'all in the chat. I definitely see y'all in the chat. There are people who are heated out there and they believe, look, bro, you're going to have to do a little bit better than this. I do believe he's been trying, but I don't think that means that we just disregard the Javonte Green signing. I do believe that at the vet minimum, it's a good deal. But like you said, it does call into question the Kevin Huerter thing. So, you know, I can't complain too much about it, given the way you laid it up, though. You know, the shooters, I like this core of shooters that we have right now, I think better than any other version we've had.
Oh, for sure. And I will say this on the Kevin Huerter deal. When I saw that deal initially, I thought it was Duncan's packing his bags. He's out of here. Yeah. I thought it was one of those things where they were maybe frustrated with Duncan Robinson. I'm not saying that Kevin Huerter's some all-world defender. He's probably, in the grand scheme of things, probably a minus defender, but he's a better defender than Duncan Robinson. And I thought it was one of those things where the Pistons were pretty frustrated with how, you know, Duncan Robinson's defense. So when they needed shooting out there, you had to throw Duncan Robinson out there, and he was basically a cone on defense. So I thought Kevin Huerter was almost like the replacement for that. But look, like I said, you could run a lineup where, you know, if you need to come back from a lead, if you're trying to trim a deficit, you could, you know, throw out a lineup there with Isaiah Joe, Duncan, and Kevin Huerter, and you know, hit some threes.
He better be in a trade package.
It is a tradable contract. It's a tradable contract, too.
No. I'm sorry. He just no real contributions since the trade deadline. He was a DNP for most of the playoffs. I know he did play some minutes, but I just think we can get better at that spot. You know, maybe I don't want to say they'll lean more into, you know, the draft picks and things of that nature, but I do like the prospect of Okori and what he can bring. But I don't know, it's still very, very early in this process. But like you said, tradable contract, and I do think it is something that they would maybe place in a deal. But if they do decide to bring him back, I can understand why they would think that's a good move, but I'm over it.
What is his nickname? Vanilla what? What do they call him? Vanilla something, or is
Vanilla
Red Velvet?
Red Velvet.
No, that's
Red
Tesla.
Yeah.
Red Velvet. Yeah.
I call him a potato salad because I always like, you know, the potato. You got the little bit of the, what do they put, like paprika on top? It's a little bit of orange right on top.
Sure.
That's why I always called him potatoes, and it's like the whitest thing imaginable.
Shout out, dog. This is going to be an interesting thing here with the Pistons. And I know we got a couple more segments here where we get to break this down in terms of, are they and should they be star hunting? You know, there's different reports and different things we're going to break down, as well as, is Trajan doing enough to separate himself from some of these other GMs? I really do, because, you know, sports fans here, I think that they're starting to get to a point where they feel maybe a little battered from a standpoint of seeing weaknesses, seeing team needs, but not necessarily seeing the GM go and push the ticket to the tune of championship level. Do we see them saying, you know what, we want to kind of be playoff ready? You know what? Worthy. We want to have a couple all-stars on our squad, maybe. We see them doing enough there, but when we talk about getting to the full shebang, you know, got this up on the desk today, are people like Trajan and Cole, and realistically him, is he doing enough to separate himself from that noise?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Man,
Yeah.
we gonna talk.
Hey,
I have some thoughts.
Where we going?
If you need to talk to somebody, Kool-Aid, who should you talk to?
You know what? If you want to talk about sports every day, wins, losses, pressure, expectation, we know that Woodward Sports got you covered. Real life, as Gordo tossed up the alley-oop, that's pure psychiatry because it's not always easy. And they have a way. At Woodward Sports, you're never alone, and neither is your mental health journey. Pure Psychiatry provides personalized psychiatric care designed specifically for you. Not a cookie-cutter plan. With 16 locations in Michigan and 2 in Ohio, they make getting help accessible and comfortable. If you've been thinking about taking that first step, visit PurePsychMI.com.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports. Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
Thrive Energy Pouches give me the energy and clarity to find and beat the shit out of every opportunity that shows its face.
Live and direct, I'm back on set action. Create the wave, we cannonball splash 'em. Light court swinging, get your head shot. Point blank, dead stop. 16 bars in a headlock.
Thrive Energy Pouches are for the people who actually want to win, not for the crybabies out there who are happy with a participation award. There's zero sugar, so give Thrive a try.
Some days call for light, others lean bold. What about everything in between? All Day IPA, the easy choice for every day. Citrusy, crisp, refreshing. Flavor you can float with. Light on the hops, big on refreshment. One's great. 2, even better. Brewed with you in mind. No shortcuts, no fuss. Big on flavor, never too much. All Day IPA. Hop into easy.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Buddy's Pizza. Buddy's Pizza is celebrating 80 years of the original Detroit-style pizza and is grateful to be your hometown favorite. Follow their social media channels and join the rewards program to see what they have planned throughout 2026. Add some Detroit style to your next event with Buddy's Catering. Their menu is packed with fan favorites, including their award-winning pizzas, signature salads, homemade pastas, and more. Guys, by the way, the wings, the meatballs, they're absolutely fantastic. Whenever Buddy's is kind enough to hook us up here at the studio, they're gone like that. You got to get them while they're hot, got to get them fast, all right? So you guys can save 20% on your next catering order of over $200 when you order with promo code Woodward20. That is Woodward20. Visit buddiespizza.com/catering to view their complete menu and place your order today.
Crunch time. We are back. Shout out to Jeff Iafredi and Booner Boom Squad. They are out for the day in their place. You got the young legend over here, Caleb.
Yes, sir. What up, though?
Shout out, man. And your boy Brandon there, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid. First, I need you guys, before we get back into these segments, smash that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. Thank you guys for being here and supporting Woodward Sports, supporting Crunch Time. Smash that like button, and I need you guys to put your comments in the chat as it relates to what Trajan Langdon is doing to separate himself or not from the other GMs in this town, because I'm already seeing people like Michigan Go Blue in the chat says Trajan, and then he puts it on all caps, so I got to do it justice. Kate needs help! You know, with a little
Right.
enthusiasm behind it, though. And shout out to the booth as well. Gordon holding it down in the, I guess
sir.
it's what,
G-Don.
in the titty space?
No, it's the TD booth still.
Yeah.
In the titty booth.
Yeah.
Shout out to the booth, dog. What up, though?
Hey, I'm feeling great today. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even finish watching that Tigers game last night. I know
I don't blame you.
that should be my
You ain't
job.
missed much. Tell me.
Bro,
Let me
I
tell you.
don't blame you.
I passed out on the couch. I woke up. They were like playing the reruns of MLB Network, and I was like, I'm just gonna assume we lost and go to bed. So anyways, guys, I put today we'll hop off I hopped out of the bed. started today on a better foot. You know what? Took the dog for a walk. It's hotter than hell out, but we're living.
It's cooler than the past couple days, though.
Way cooler.
It's cooler than the past couple days.
I ain't got to do the show on my beater today, so I'm happy about that. That shit was crazy.
Dog, we were driving through Georgia on the way back from Florida, and the dash had 115 degrees.
Bro.
Absolutely not, dog. I don't know how people live in that, but
Yeah.
goodness. And what up, dog, to Black Hollywood over there in the sound booth.
Hey, you know what it is. Holiday weekend, man. How do you not love it, man? I know it's going to be a lot of good barbecue going around tomorrow, but today we here Skeleton Crew. Well, not really Skeleton Crew. We got some dogs in here, but we here to talk some sports, man. Talk some sports.
Jay Hart in the chat. Why am I seeing fire Trajan? Dog, we gotta get
all right.
Look,
All
man, come
right.
on, guys.
Kool-Aid, yeah. Wait,
all
Javonte
right.
Green, Batman.
Kool-Aid, we gotta get some people right around here. There's some straightening that need to happen. Cause come on, bro.
I mean, talk to me. You see, like, what the chat is going through right now. It looks like people are waiting for that number 2. We were sold that we would potentially go star hunting this offseason. And that was something that Trajan Langdon said as well. I get the notion of, well, other people have to want us as well. But we've seen some trades go down that make people wonder, why couldn't the Pistons potentially have been one of those squads that go out there and do that? Are they overvaluing some of their players in their potential core? Because with the Jalen Duren stuff, every time there's a new rumor started by somebody else out there, what do we hear from literally, like Omari Sankofa, the Pistons, or Lil T's here?
They
the
want to
Pistons
retain
want
Jalen.
him, and they're willing to do whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we continue to see over and over and over again. Not that Duren isn't shopping for his max deal, that the Pistons can go out there and say, okay, we'll match that, because this is all about negotiation. What did we hear at the beginning of this thing? Yeah, Duren, go out there and find your deal.
Yeah.
Find your deal. We talked about this coming into the season, what it was going to be. And so what this boils down to, and I actually wrote an article on woodwardsports.com right now, this boils down to them believing that Cade Cunningham is as impactful as a Jalen Brunson, but them believing that Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson are going to have similar impacts as Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby on winning a championship.
Yeah.
As currently constructed. They haven't gone out yet, and you'll see the title of it, even though I state what I believe the Pistons' vision is as it relates to their belief in their core. I still put in my headline, the Pistons still are in need of a number 2 option, with John Collins as the thumbnail thing pointing just like that. Because even though y'all know how much I love the John Collins pick,
You called it, too.
listen,
Hey, man,
that was one
years.
that they've been flirting with for a couple years, and they
Years,
finally were able to pull the trigger on it. And it's awesome to see, because I believe he and Cade Cunningham are going to be lightning in the bottle as it relates to how they work. And I do believe it helps out a Jalen Duren as well. And so for me, okay, I can understand it. Your team got you to 60 wins, relying on old man Toby, and now you're expecting your guys to take the next step in the playoffs next year. Is that worth messing up? Do they deserve the ability to run it back? For me, like straight up, y'all know how I feel about the Pistons, but I do believe that they are still in need of a surefire number 2 next to Cade Cunningham. I can like better floor spacing and those things, but I still believe you need a player that you know, when it's in that crunch time and everybody's going to be focused on Cade Cunningham, that he can reliably say, you know what, we got somebody else that can make it happen. As much as I hate LeBron James for that, 25, 26 straight points against the Detroit Pistons in 2006, 2007.
Yeah, for the going to work Pistons.
Yeah, but if you remember, there was somebody else who was absolutely gassing us, and it was Boobie Gibson. That entire effing series, dog. Like, we haven't even been able to find a player to that type of caliber to put next to Cade Cunningham yet. And I do believe that that's going to be a detriment ultimately if they don't find somebody, because Karl Anthony Towns is a certified, he's been to these All-Star games. We understand the type of skill set that he brings to the table. You know, we know what OG Anunoby has done for the New York Knicks. And that's where, when you're looking at Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren, it's not just what I believe they expect out of Cade, but how much more of a leap they believe these 2 players are going to take. And it's not that I don't believe in these guys, but I do believe that might be a mistake.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because, look, you could look at the offseason. John Collins, that's a good signing. You know, he's a guy that shoots 40% from 3. Not a ton of volume, but that's, he could shoot the 3. He's going to be a lob threat for Cade Cunningham. You bring in a guy like Isaiah Joe. Like, this is what I talked about last segment. Like, that floor spacing, yes, that's good for Cade Cunningham. That's gonna help him out. But what were we all basically, like you said, promised going into this offseason? It was getting that secondary score, secondary star
Promise
for Cade Cunningham.
Promised by who? Who promised us anything as Detroit fans?
That's true. That's true. There's
That's
some
the hype.
PTSD.
That's the
Trajan
hype that we
Langdon-
built up. But
Trajan Langdon did say, like last year, he said no. This year, though, to start off the offseason, he did state we're going to look.
Yeah,
he didn't
they will
necessarily
look.
say we're going to get it, but he said we're going to look. And the one thing he did say they were going to prioritize was secondary facilitation, secondary scoring.
Yeah.
And so I can see where tertiary scoring, like, you know, what you're doing behind the arc right now to space the floor for Cade, that's not your secondary scoring.
It's
that's
not.
That's tertiary. That's extra. The secondary ball handling, that's still not giving you the person who's getting the ball in crunch time when Cade, shout out crunch time, when Cade is the one that's been double team, triple team, or if he needs to rest. Because as it currently sits, who is that going to? Danish Jenkins still? Because that's who it was in last year's playoffs.
Well,
I mean,
it's
outside-
Isaiah Joe
Prove
now.
that, yes.
It's Isaiah Joe now, but
Outside of, and again, that was number one on the checklist. That was number one going into the offseason. That's what makes this, and I get it. We see reports. He's trying, you know, he tried for Austin Reeves. They were in on Norman Powell. They tried to get in the 3-team trade with Tyler Hero. It's all, it's like the same shit with Brad Holmes. You just keep here trying. I'm not saying it's on the same level as Brad Holmes, because I do legitimately think Trajan Langdon made calls and was trying to get those players. But that was number one on our checklist this offseason, was bringing in another scorer for Cade Cunningham. And outside of the NBA draft, where we're bringing a Corey, that's a 19-year-old. So in the playoffs, you're telling me right now you're going to rely on a Corey to be, again, I think he's going to be a good player. I really like the pick, but you're going to rely on Dennis Jenkins and a Corey as a 19-year-old to take the load off of Cade Cunningham. A move needs to happen, Kool-Aid. And I'm not going to lie, right after the Isaiah Stewart trade, I thought a big move was coming right after that. I thought that same night, I thought we were getting that secondary score. But I mean, like you said, I live in Detroit, so we didn't get it. But it's still number one on your checklist, and there's still guys you can go out and get. The list has definitely shortened with, you know, Norman Powell going to the Bulls, Tyler Hero in the 3-team trade. I know it still needs to be finalized
Reeves.
And everything. Austin Reeves, who they were in on, there's the list is short, but you just have to find a way.
All right, and I'm glad you added that last caveat. I'm about to throw it over to you
Yeah,
too, because he has tried. The run of names, and the reason why I even threw Austin Reeves in there is because the reports were they went big game hunting. So Trajan Langdon has tried. More so than this. This is where I put separation even between he and Brad Holmes from this one perspective in free agency, is that we know Brad knocked on the door, but we get kind of the sense that it was like, you know, knock and run. You know what I mean? I left a note, hey, I hope
just
you're doing
made the
good. Here's a
call.
fruit basket.
This does feel a little
Courtesy
bit different
call.
with Trajan.
But
It
with
was a
Trajan's,
courtesy call.
We got that. He frazzled them so much that the Lakers were like,
Yeah.
I'm going to offer Drummond. I'm going to offer Duren a max deal now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are calling, if they offer him that situation, it's going to be Drummond 2.0. But it didn't frazzle the Pistons because I think that they're ready for something like that. We got the report that they were very, very keen in what the situation was on Duren, and they've continued to put out there exactly what it's going to be. So you even going out there and trying to sign Duren, I don't think he's just going to take the max from someone else. If someone else is going to get Duren, it's going to be because he's convinced them to sign him for more than that $44 million a year. And that's just in my opinion. That's just from some of the things that you kind of hear, from how you've seen them do business, and from the fact that they continue to literally squash every report about Duren. That to me means they don't even want there to just be, hey, we're negotiating with Duren behind the scenes. He knows what the deal is. No. This is the Pistons on every front, not just in the behind the scenes negotiations, but even then going to social media saying we will absolutely not have no storm of fire going across about us not wanting Duren or Duren going over here or some this, that, and the other. I like the fact that they've stood on business to say we're going to make sure that the narrative about this is us. And Trajan said that. He said, you guys won't know what's going on inside of our rooms unless we tell you. And so every time we report, the Pistons don't want to give him the max. Actually, the Pistons want to give him the max. The Pistons want to trade him. Actually, we don't want to trade him. The Pistons don't want to give him the super max. Actually, the Pistons will give him whatever the heck. These are the things we keep hearing back and forth. And so it's like, I want to be fair somewhat to Trajan Langdon, but I think you put that caveat on the end that don't you have to find a way?
Yeah, I mean, every good GM, look at in basketball, football, everything, they have the backup plan. Yeah. They do. If they don't get it, if they don't get their number one guy, they have their backup plan. KG?
Go ahead, Gordon. I'll let Gordon get off.
Yeah, dude, we live in a town where these GMs have press conferences just to tell you that they didn't make the move, that they tried. So nothing really surprises me, but we do have quite a few super chats in here that I wanted to get to include the people. Shout out to everybody in the Woodward Sports super chat. We got I Ain't Say That with a $5 chat, Caleb, Kool-Aid, Chris in full uni, KG slanging that wood.
Yeah, that's America, baby!
And then we got, I think this is three big I don't know. It cuts off the name after a while. But how you feel about Ben Mathurin or Kuminga if we can't land Trey or MPJ?
Kool-Aid, was Steve Kerr right about Kuminga? Because the fact that the Hawks declined that $24 million team option, Kuminga's a good player. So maybe Steve Kerr was right about him.
What's wrong with cum buckets?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's a good basketball player, but he has, Steve Kerr had to be right about him if the Hawks aren't picking up that $24 million. Because that dude can score.
Yeah, and ultimately I know that these players have to mesh and fit well around Cade.
Yeah.
We're talking about just the notion of outside shooting that is supposed to provide something for Cade, but if there are players that aren't necessarily coinciding with him being the numero uno, the unquestioned, hey, we drive as he rolls, then yeah, that could cause some issues. And there have been a couple players I thought, I wonder why the Pistons aren't more heavily involved with, say, player X or Y or Z, and you kind of find out behind the scenes that they might not have been the right locker room fit. And that's where you start to understand that kind of what's going on up top might be something that is deterring teams. And you look at a player even as good as Jalen Brown. I would bring him to Detroit in a heartbeat.
Seriously. Yeah.
But you hear everybody out there, and it just was a wave this week of people literally knocking him. And
it's like a smear
him.
Campaign for him.
Yeah. It really felt like a smear campaign.
Yeah, it did.
And then you really sell him for what I believe to be cheap. And it was why? Because of what I guess the reports were saying, how he fits in your locker room, how he fits with your other players and your stars and things of that nature. This affects teams in a way that they now build today. Back in the day, and shout out to Anson Wells in the building. I know he can attest to this, and KG, you might be able to Platty a little bit. Back in the day, some of your best coaches were known for how they managed those players. That's what made, not that they didn't have the X's and O's, but your Phil Jacksons and your Daddy Richards, shout out to the legend Chuck Daly's, they not only had the X's and O's, but they had to manage players that were literally beating each other up.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Both of them were managing teams where their players got black eyes, and you're like, whoa, what happened? It feels like, what you mean what happened? You know what I mean? Chuck Daly's just walking in with his suits and his hair and everything. And so I think that's a little bit less of the game today. You'll see players with attitude issues gone in a heartbeat. You think about the investment, even hey, I get it, 4 second-round picks. We wanted to get KPJ. That's the Cleveland
whole culture thing with Brad Holmes. We just want the best football players here, but
game hunting, it is the Kevin Durant aspect of this thing. I think that he would enjoy playing with Cade Cunningham. They got a bromance, and they've had it since before Cade was in the league. And they talked about that on their podcast as well. But if I'm going, you know what, based off of potential and maybe some of the moves that we've seen him make already, I am looking at a guy like Rui Hachimura. And I know that you brought in a John Collins, but I'm still looking at Rui from a wing perspective, being able to give you somebody who's a little bit bigger, who can battle a little bit in that paint for you, but also bring you outside shooting. And I like the fact that he elevated his play across the board in the playoffs. How many players in our short now playoff history window here can we say, you know what, they went into the playoffs and actually elevated their level of play? And so from that perspective, I'm looking at Rui Hachimura as somebody who I'm not completely out on. Like just to put this in perspective, man, in the regular season, he shot 44% from behind the arc and 51% from the floor. In the postseason, 55% from the floor, 56% from behind the arc.
Yeah.
His scoring went from 11.5 a game to 17.5 a game. His stocks jumped up to 1.5. His assists jumped up. Everything across the board for Rui went up. And he remains unsigned. I do believe that his desire, from what I've heard, is to try and be back with the Lakers. But he still remains unsigned right now. And that is a player that if I'm looking at someone who I think, you know what, maybe we could get a little bit more out of him by opening up a little bit of the usage here on the Pistons that he wouldn't get on the Lakers. Maybe you get what you saw out of him in the playoffs during the regular season too.
Yeah, Rui's a guy we've talked about, and you brought it up when you were on the show too. Like he's been a guy that we've looked at for the Pistons. But again, this is one of those, and I know the term thrown out there, and I might have thrown it out there. Like a guy like Rui Hachimura is, he's going to come off your bench, but that's like a lateral move. How much better does Rui Hachimura actually give you? So, Kool-Aid, we were just talking about it. That can't just be your move. You got to go get someone big.
Yeah,
you have to.
If you're talking about big game hunting, yeah, definitely. But I almost feel like the types of moves that we may wind up with are moves like that. And it's like, at that point in time, is it somebody that's a good fit, somebody that provides a little bit more of a room for potential to basically raise their ceiling?
Yeah.
That is somebody I believe Rui could potentially be. I don't know if he's gotten that opportunity to this point. He's played on teams with guys who demand high usage.
Yes.
And for him to just kind of be somebody standing on the outside. Now in the playoffs, when the old legs were more tired and dead, and you know what happens in playoffs, most people's efficiency goes way down. That opened up so much more opportunity and usage opportunity for Rui, and that to me is what I actually liked. When I see these guys get the opportunity in high pressure stakes and they actually perform, that leads me to believe that maybe we can open up the usage for them during a regular season and keep our main guys that much more fresh into the playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, what was it? You said Rui shot 50% from three in the playoffs?
Yeah,
56%.
Up from 44 during the regular season.
Yeah, these playoff risers. And I'll say this, like, maybe that's why, like, you talk about these playoff risers, maybe that's why the Celtics viewed Paul George as such a big asset. Because I mean, he balled out in the playoffs this year. Look, I know he's old. He's 36, but I mean, and again, I think that trade was bogus. First of all. But, I mean, maybe the Celtics viewed Paul George as like, look, this is a guy that's really going to help us in the playoffs. He's a wing who could defend. He did really good on Brunson in that series. I mean, his efficiency went up. He averaged 18 a game in the playoffs. But yeah, if Rui's Rui could be a guy for us, definitely.
He could be, but I get what you guys mean.
You still got to build depth and all that. And I know we up against a break, so do we got to take the break first? Or?
Yeah, and I think we might want to double up on this break too.
Yeah.
I think. Cool. So let's see here. Start us off with Yaldo Eye Center and Water Hazard, and then after the break we'll do Loom and Supreme.
For anybody having audio issues, refresh your streams. Everything's good on our end so far. So, but appreciate you.
Refresh your streams. Shout out KG.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're tired of fumbling for your glasses or dealing with the daily hassle of contacts, it is time to take control of your vision with Yaldo Eye Center. With over 30 years of experience and 100,000 procedures, they are the trusted experts. Their LASIK surgery is completely painless. It takes just 8 minutes, and recovery is so fast that most patients are seeing 20/20 the very next day. Right now, you can take advantage of their summer promotion at just $16.99 per eye, regardless of your prescription. It is a one-time investment that will save you thousands of dollars on glasses and contacts in the long run. So wake up with clear vision. Book your consultation with Yaldo Eye Center today at yaldoeyecenter.com/1699. You know what? Maybe that's why Richard Hamilton had one of the cleanest and meanest free throw games and mid-range games in the NBA, because we know he went to Yaldo as well.
And let me tell you about Water Hazard from Founders, the very first canned vodka cocktail. It's vodka-based cocktail at 5% ABV that's citrusy, refreshing, and gluten-free. Best served over ice with a slice of lemon, preferably. 4th of July, go get yourself a case. Get $5 cans at any Art & Jake's location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And always remember, please drink responsibly.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Experience summer in Detroit with pro soccer at Keyworth Stadium. Every Detroit City FC match brings a new reason to show up early and stay late. Tickets available now at DebtCityFC.com.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Shout out to Loom and their Independence Day giveaway. And listen, y'all ain't got a lot more time to get these good deals, but if you just buy 2 or more Splash Fresh Coat or Ritual products in a single transaction, opt into the Loom loyalty program, you will be automatically entered to win a 3-night getaway 4-6 at the gorgeous Doom Bird House in Lee Lenore wine country, complete with over $1,000 for dining and gas. They're also giving away $250 gift cards at all 40 of their locations across the state. So to learn rules and regulations, go to loom.com. You can also go there to get your product as well, 30% off your entire order using code WSN30. It's Loom Cannabis.
Oh, Lilo now is so beautiful.
Hey,
man.
are you buying a home or refinancing? It's a big decision, and just like in sports, you need the right team behind you. That's why we're proud to welcome Supreme Lending to the Woodward Sports family. As a full-service lender, they boast a 99% close-on-time rate and a 97% customer satisfaction score. But here's the game changer. When you apply for an eligible loan, mention Woodward Sports. You already know we always hooking y'all up, and you will receive up to $500 off your appraisal. To score this deal, call the numbers on your screen and talk to Chad and Chris at Supreme Lending today. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? It is crunch time. Shout out to Jeff and Boone Squad, who are off today in a place. Young legend down there. It is Caleb.
Yes, sir.
Great job putting the show together.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be up here with you.
It's,
Holiday
you know what?
weekend, Friday.
This is epic right now, man. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. We also got Gordon in the TD
What
space.
up, though?
And KG on sound.
Hey.
What up, though, man? And we were talking about Trajan, talking about the Pistons, and honestly, I want to know. I see the people right here in the chat right now. How do we feel about Trajan Langdon? The two options, best GM in town, and I probably won't say the other option right now, but 62% say that he is the best GM in town.
Really?
I see the other option
Really?
there.
Because I was told something different. I hate to be Neil. I was told something different.
Look, that's the conversation, because I know people want to go big game and big star hunting. We will talk a little bit more about Kevin Durant, but the chat overwhelmingly, they're talking, I'm seeing Kevin Durant, I'm seeing Trey Murphy. Some people don't believe it's going to happen. Some people believe it's going to happen because we keep seeing these little reports. And the longer that I believe Trey Murphy sits out there, the better I actually do think it bodes for the Detroit Pistons. But Trajan Langdon, is he doing enough right now to separate himself from the other GMs as it relates to hitting on the Pistons' needs, hitting on the Pistons' weaknesses, with the ability to be able to go out there and win a championship? This is what people believe that Brad Holmes hasn't done enough of. This is what people believe, Harris and Cole with the Tigers haven't done enough of. And do we even really have to talk about the Detroit Red Wings right now?
Oh, God.
We already know what people feel about them, and I know
yeah.
we can tap in Gordo for that. But this is a situation where I see people in the chat who say, look, y'all said we didn't have enough shooting. He goes out and gets shooting, and then y'all complain. He went out there and knocked on doors. Some of these deals just didn't work out. Y'all complain. But my thing is this. Even though I think he's done well in the pivot, has he really separated himself if this team isn't that much closer to a championship?
I think Trajan's a smart guy, but I don't think he's done enough thus far to separate himself as the number one GM in Detroit.
Ooh, elaborate.
He's won just as much as Brad Holmes has. He's won just as much as Scott Harris has. And yes, we're more optimistic about the Pistons because he feels more, I guess the word is like, you trust him a little bit more. You trust Trajan a little bit more because you see we're in on all of these stars. And look, he's hit on some veteran contracts back in the day, Beasley, THJ, Paul Reed, Duncan, a bigger contract in Tobias Harris.
Shooter.
He's hit on those, but we haven't had that big swing move that we've been looking for. And there's a lot of offseason left. We're only a week into the offseason. So if he wins this Duren negotiation and gets Duren around, 35, round-ish range that we've seen reported, and he goes out and gets that second star for Cade Cunningham, sure, absolutely, I think you could say he's the best GM in sports. But right now, guys, look, like last trade deadline, we were all poo-pooing Trajan Langdon, because all he did was bring Kevin Huerter in, and all he does this offseason, I don't want to say all he does because these are two good players, but now he brings in Isaiah Joe and John Collins, and now he's the savior of Detroit sports.
Yeah.
Again,
in contrast with Isaiah Stewart, Tobias Harris leaving,
yes,
not adding them to a core that helped you actually get to 60 wins and get to the playoffs.
Yes, and look, again, I think Trajan's a really smart guy, and I do trust him to an extent to build a championship contending roster for the Detroit Pistons. But right now, I just don't think he's done enough to separate himself as the best GM in Detroit sports. I don't. But again, there's a lot of offseason left right now. There's a lot of offseason left.
There is, but then when you look at a player who we thought at one point in time was a shoo-in to come back to Detroit, and you look at the deal he got for about $17 million a year, I thought that would have been a good price tag for the Pistons because I thought he played himself into getting at least $20 million a year again if he wanted to. And I'm sure that there's some teams out there that would have been like, you know what, yeah, we'll get that money for you to go out there and just, help us tank, and you can get whatever usage that you want. But he took a deal with a team, and then the shot or comment or however you want to take it was effectively aligning the Spurs with a team that's actually moving towards winning a championship. And if the team you were with before, that you came here saying you would love to be able to, it would be nice if you could end your career here. Remember the hype and the hoopla? Even though he might be from Texas, we know that his wife and their family is from here. And this was some of the stuff that we heard on his way into Detroit, and we thought this is his sunset right here with the Detroit Pistons. And instead, he gets rejuvenated. I don't know what it was, man, during the playoffs when he started putting the tank on his back. Y'all remember his workouts and everything? Whatever was in that tank. It got Tobias Harris thinking totally different. He went out there and got a lot of money to lead the Pistons and to go to a team that he believes is on a fast track for a championship. I wonder if he were to look at the Pistons, what would he say keeps them from that same precipice or perch that he put the Spurs on?
Yeah, if there was, I would love to have heard the negotiations for Tobias Harris, with the Pistons, because I'm sure, like you kind of just alluded to it, I'm sure the Pistons gave him a similar offer. They at $17 million.
That was a good deal.
I thought that was a great deal. This is a guy you just said. This is a guy that balled out for you in the playoffs
and all season.
And you kind of just bring in John Collins, and then boom, Tobias, that's your Tobias Harris replacement. And
one thing though, I think the big hang up for Toby, it was the term, wasn't it? Didn't he want more than 2 years, or he didn't just want a 1 year mercenary deal. He wanted to at least get 2 years. So I believe that's what he got.
Gordo, and KG, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Do you guys think that Trajan Langdon separated himself as the best GM in Detroit sports?
I really, and albeit it's still early in this process, I don't think Trajan's done. I really do feel like if you just watch the moves up until this point, we got to cut Trajan just a little bit of slack. And I get it. I was one of the people on this network before the playoffs screaming, hey, the Pistons don't have a second scorer, y'all. Hey, this is going to be a problem later on, y'all. And it played out in real time. We all saw it. But I just really feel like, just look at the options that they had available. You look at what Trajan was able to get in on and the things we heard very, very early on in this process. Like somebody in the chat started off Trajan is late to the party. Well, I would argue the contrary. I would think he's been in on a lot of these moves, and for one reason or another, they just have not worked out. I know we're a results-based business. I know the fan base has not had that kind of news come through in a long time, so I get it. We all greedy. We all hungry for it. But the people that feel like the Pistons are just going to have this drop off from number 1 seed, which I do feel like, okay, they won't be number 1 seed, but drop off from that to 6th, 7th, 8th. I've heard play in even. I think that's a little bit ridiculous.
But that's the conversation we had yesterday,
people
KG.
Thinking about to get past us.
I think
that's a little ridiculous.
Look, I know the games have to be played. And we don't know the internal progression. These guys like Asar Thompson and I'll even say a guy like Ron Holland, you bring Duren back. We don't know how that internal progression is going to look next year. I think they're going to all become better players, but I think just on paper, looking at what other teams did in the East, and this is the conversation you and Booner were yelling yesterday about it. I just look at other teams in the East, and a lot of teams got better. You look at the Pacers, they get Halliburton back. They trade Zubac. They get Zubac at the trade deadline last year. They have Pascal Siakam. That's a really good team.
Right.
You look at the Sixers, who now have Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brown. You look at the Raptors, who just traded for Kawhi Leonard. The Knicks just won the NBA championship. The Cleveland Cavaliers just smoked you out in 7 games last year. I just think, and lapped is a difficult word for me to say because you did just win 60 games last year, and you did control the East for the most part, but all these teams in the East are just getting so much better. And it's not necessarily that I think Trajan's sitting on his hands, but these teams are actually going out and getting it done.
But you know what? There are people, though, as soon as the playoffs started, who said, what was the overwhelming narrative of them outside Detroit? They're about to get popped in the front.
Yeah, that they were a fake 61 team.
They're a fake 61 team. They're not real. They played hard when nobody else was. And honestly, the Pistons did admit that to start the season. Cade Cunningham said, we know we can get off to a good start because we know that nobody is really, within the first month or two of the season. And they did. They went out there and beat TA. And they put themselves in a good position. I don't take anything away from them. I want this squad to be able to develop what they need to go out there and just absolutely bludgeon teams in the regular season and for long playoff runs without running out of steam. That's what we saw the 04 Pistons do. They didn't take no nights off during the regular season. They were setting records defensively during the regular season. That's what they were doing. And then they were also setting sellout records and sellout streaks during the regular season, as well as 6 straight trips to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were in 2 to the finals. They were built for this, man. Absolutely built for this. And that's where
to me, it's like, all right, there was only really 2 moves out there. 2 moves out there that really would have guaranteed you NBA Finals appearance caliber team. And those 2 moves were Jalen Brown and Kawhi Leonard.
No.
But besides those 2 moves, Tyler Hero moves the needle a little bit. I don't know if he gets you to a finals. Trey Murphy, as much as I like the Trey Murphy move, I like it a lot. I don't know if it gets you to an NBA Finals.
That might be full eggplant mode for me.
Austin Reeves. I think he would have been a really great addition here. He fits this team well. I can't say that move guarantees you an NBA Finals appearance. So I just look at the pool of what he had to deal with and the fact that, he wasn't. His first move was trading Beef Stew. Franchise favorite around here. We all love Beef Stew. He started off like that. So the fact that he's already moved like that shows me, okay, he's moving a little different than everybody else. He went out, got Isaiah Joe. Corey, yet to be seen, but the type of skill set that he has, it fits this team. Who they're obviously going to have a press conference about. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll see what that, we'll see what that looks like.
Yes, sir.
But a 7-footer that, could possibly replace Beef Stew in terms of giving you defense. But when you look at just the moves, okay, Tyler Hero, that 3-team trade fell apart. Jalen Brown, I don't think that was ever realistic because they said they were trying to shed salary. I don't think you're going to do that by bringing in a Jalen Duren contract. And Tyler Hero, like I said, I'm just – anything else, it's really hasn't been feasible. Norman Powell in free agency was a blow, sure, but none of these moves are just like, okay, that guarantees us an NBA Finals appearance. I think we're losing the plot a little bit. That's all.
But it puts you, it might not, nothing guarantees you a championship appearance, but it puts you in a better position. Like even this Jalen Brown move for the Sixers, it doesn't guarantee him a championship, but it puts you in a better spot. Look at how the Knicks have built their roster for the past couple of years. They go out and go get the OG. They traded their guy, RJ Barrett, was their poster child there in New York for a while. They go out and trade for OG Anunoby because it put them in a better position to get to the NBA championship. They traded, 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges?
Yeah.
They trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, those are moves. Again, like you are right, KG. Like I said, like,
even
but it's not the willingness to not trade with Trajan. And that's where I think people are losing the plot. Clearly, he's willing to get out here in these waters. But for whatever reason or another, it just hasn't worked. And I do understand that. But we're looking at this as, okay, it has to get done next year. I'm not trying to push 2027 on y'all, I promise. But the team did improve. It'd be different if he just went in the draft and he made marginal moves in free agency and it was just like, okay. But I look at the moves of John Collins, the moves of Isaiah Joe. You significantly improved your floor spacing. You retained Duncan Robinson as well, which I also think is being slept under the radar.
Your front court is improved right now.
The shooting problem was just a bigger problem as the secondary scorer was. We were all sitting up here saying, why can't they shoot? We only got one shooter, Duncan Robinson, that's it. We have now, as presently constructed, we have now a team that is going to have shooters at all times on the floor. And I do feel the way but the way JB Bickerstaff sets up this team, I think he's going to adjust to his personnel. They're going to be able to go out there and be a more offensively produced team while still maintaining some defense. But I think you have to sacrifice one thing to get another. We lost some defense, and Beef Stew going away, but we gained a lot more offense, a lot more floor spacing, and that's going to benefit Cade. That's going to benefit Jalen Duren. And I think those guys, both of those guys, even Cade, can take that next step. And I think that's what maybe the Pistons are kind of banking on here.
Yeah.
Our guys are going to be our guys, and they're going to continue to get better. Like I think Cade and
that's-
Duren, if he's here, will get better.
And that's what, like I said, guys, definitely check out woodwardsports.com. That's what I put in the article, is that they're banking big on Cade Cunningham being able to have an effect like Jalen Brunson as the lead guy, as the unquestioned, probably only superstar on his team, and then being able to pull a roster that is balanced around him. That was a squad that Jalen Brunson had the opportunity to say, this is kind of how I wanted to look around me, and I do believe that that helps with a guy like him to be able to go out there, especially over the last couple years before they won it. It helped to put, I believe, some egos in check. To the point that it was unquestionably his team. Now, Cade's not necessarily going to have that issue in terms of whose voice, but as it relates to the lead that you follow, the chemistry that you have, I absolutely believe he's going to have the say-so in terms of how the team looks from that perspective. And it's like, KG, I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, that I believe that he's operating within the confines, but I do believe that they put some of their own restraints on themselves because of the type of cap flexibility and cap responsibility they choose to have.
Yeah.
We know the way that they move, and sometimes that could be to a detriment. Now, do they believe that they're that one move away from winning a champion, or do they really believe that their guys can step up? I do believe it's more that they believe their guys can step up, and that at this point, maybe that big move is more of a luxury.
Sounds a lot like the Tigers, and I can't. And it's
I'm
sick.
I get it, but
can't,
it's not that bad yet.
It's not.
But I mean, when you contrast it with Brad Holmes, the Lions were doing well. We got up here and even say, well, even though we think they need the edge, what can we really say to them? But then it started catching up to them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the component. Is this something that's going to catch up with the Pistons? Or is this something that, you know what, maybe they will find better luck with it than the Tigers and the Lions did?
Yeah. So, KG, just
way.
one question before we go to break.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if they bring back, and we've had this discussion a lot, so you believe with the floor spacing that Trajan is at, and you believe with the internal development, if we just bring back Jalen Duren, and this is our roster right now, do you think we can contend in the East?
Absolutely. We're a top 4 team in the East, if, assuming Duren is back with the team.
I think it's the same thing as the Lions. I think not having that secondary score is going to catch up to you in the playoffs.
I get it, but without the floor spacing, Duren was able to go from 12 points a game to 19. The rebounds came up a touch as well. I think that added floor spacing does nothing but help a big man like him develop his offense.
But Jalen Duren,
but they did change the defense against him. So it was like they had marginal floor spacing in a regular season, but teams also weren't trying to stop Jalen Duren.
Right,
in the playoffs, they specifically said, we believe we take him out the game.
The pick and roll, it's over.
If the Pistons thought that Jalen Duren was the number 2 option on this team, he would have been he would be a Detroit Piston right now. He wouldn't be going through contract negotiations.
I do feel that. And to me, maybe he won't be that second option, and he probably shouldn't. But if you're bringing somebody in like a John Collins, and let's assume they do go get somebody else that can score, you're going to rely on those guys a lot more, and Jalen Duren can just be that third scoring option or ancillary piece that can provide buckets for you. But I do still think that floor spacing was absolutely crucial to the construction of this Pistons team.
And I know we got to get to a break. I just wanted to read this from Shaw in the chat. Shaw Cardboard Treasure says, so the core was here when Trajan got here. That meant that it was already in place for 3-4 years already.
But we didn't know that.
And then he said, we did know that.
I knew. Cade and some pieces, but
Cade, Duren, and Asar
Ivy didn't end up. We thought Ivy was part of that core.
But that would have been luxury. We knew that Cade, Duren, and Asar were going to be players that were effectively going to be a part of the next. And so I get the last half of what he's saying here. Fans. So from a fan perspective, they sat through a decade and a half, almost 2 decades of BS. Then they sat through a restore that we were told by year 3 was going to be getting you what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. So he says fans are supposed to wait, another 5 years?
No, but you
got to put a championship level team on the floor. He believes that's a failure as a GM.
But this is where I say we losing the plot a little bit. Trajan came and took this job, and this was supposed to be a 5-year project. The Pistons were not supposed to be good in only 2 seasons.
But the progression of Cade Cunningham, him turning into that MVP caliber player, expedited your process.
No,
Jalen
absolutely.
Duren becoming an all-star, expedited your process. Now you got to adjust as a GM.
I get that, but because it's expedited, I got to work with what I'm given. And I think he has, like I said, he's worked as good as he can work within his confines. He tried to go swing at the big names.
But he sets the confines.
I get it, but it takes 2 to tango.
He's not in Troy Weaver's situation, though. Troy was always assistant GM.
Yeah.
Trajan literally is
he
president
has the power
of basketball operations.
But once again, it takes 2 to tango. You can't make people make these trades, and we're talking about getting out here in the trade market.
But you could if you maybe sprinkle more in than you're willing. Remember, why don't they have Trey Murphy right now? simply because they didn't want to give up the same amount of draft picks that the Knicks did for Mikal Bridges. But most of us would sit here and say that Trey Murphy is a better player than Mikal Bridges
That's true,
right now.
but what other NBA team did it?
But the Pistons are the one that needs to do it.
I get it, but I'm sure there's other teams that need Trey Murphy that have not paid that price.
But some of those other teams went out there and did things. Maybe
I get that.
They're the ones that went out there and signed their guys to big deals like the Lakers or made a trade for Jalen Brown. They're out there doing things. The teams that we competed with last year, they're doing things to better their situation.
Like, even look at
And
Toronto.
once again, I'm not saying it's enough. I still think there's more that can be done. But what happened as soon as the Jalen Brown deal happened? A report comes out, a lot of teams backed off because of the asking price. Like, I'm telling you, like, the Pistons aren't the only ones. In this situation, it's not like they're NBA Finals bound tomorrow. So I can respect Trajan for being smart. He kind of was hamstrung by this Duren situation as well, because you kind of need to see what happens with that.
Use a window
I
shopper.
feel like there's some trades
Mad
that
as fuck.
Jalen
Look at
Brown
that
makes
shit
them
you can't
NBA
buy.
It does,
Finals
absolutely.
tomorrow.
And, another guy, and I mean, this is a shot in the dark because he didn't want to re-sign here, but like Kawhi Leonard makes you an NBA Finals candidate, and he gets offered to Toronto. Fuck, you could have Brandon Ingram
But
with
he
a couple
only
picks.
wanted
There
to
we
go
go.
to Toronto. That's the only thing you heard
But
from
he
the
doesn't
Kawhi's
control
camp.
it,
We
though.
only want to go back to
He
Toronto.
don't control it. He said this with Detroit. I just won't re-sign there.
But that's huge.
No, it's not. Win your championship this year,
Bro,
and then
but
get
that's
on to
where.
better things.
But that's where we also got to realize who our GM is. They not going for the 1 year
But
mercenary.
that's why I said they are putting their own constraints on what you could do to accelerate because they want to do it their way.
I get that, but when you look at the youth of this team, I can understand why not at this point you're not going for the 1 year mercenary.
But you pulled up
At
a
this
name.
point.
But you pulled up a name. You said Jay Ivey. Somebody who trades you said we wanted to sign. Now all of a sudden they have to pivot. They have to do things a little bit different. So then if you're going back, but that's the thing. So if you're not going out there and pressing the
Cole
button when
Anthony
you
broke his
actually
leg.
can,
It's adjustments.
then you put yourself in a position that now it's based off of if Jalen Duren takes the next leap.
No, I
if
get
you
that.
poll a lot of people right now, there's not a lot of people who believe that he's going to be worth his next contract.
I get that, but we all knew this day was coming. It
yeah,
was cool when
of
we paid
course.
K. We all knew this Durant day was coming. And for what he was able to produce in the regular season, because you do have to look at that too, y'all. It's not just the playoffs. But obviously, Trajan has a line. He's not willing to go past.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I do think he'll be a Piston, and we'll see how it goes. But I do think that Jalen Duren can take another step. I do.
All right,
I think he will too.
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot to leave off real quick, guys, before we get to this break. I got to get to these super chats.
Yeah,
we got a
yeah,
bunch of people chiming in here.
Smash the like button, y'all.
I got to give a huge shout out to our guy, Dominique Davis. Dominique Davis earlier had a $5 super chat. It's been crickets, but hopefully another move happens. But hey, we just watched a 19-year-old ball out in the finals in Harper. #Hopium. And then we got Shad216. What's the package we are trading for Murphy? And then let's follow up by filling in the holes with roster spots left open. Then we got Dominique Davis with a back-to-back $5 super
Shout
chat.
out.
Crazy thing is, if Duren shows up in the playoffs and Desar improves his offense, the problem is solved. But that's a huge if. That is a huge
Yeah, and
if.
I'm not banking on that either.
And Shad216, another back-to-back. Shout out to these guys. Sign LeBron to a 1 year, $30 million contract, and then
get Bronny,
trade
too.
for KD. I bet you Duren will start acting right. Yeah, Duren would
funny
maybe
as
start
hell. Get
acting
Bronny,
right
too.
because his ass would be in Houston.
Yeah, LeBron and
That would be
KD
a
on the
sign and
business.
trade.
Jesus
You would
Christ.
have to sign and trade a Duren in that kind of situation.
That's insane. I
But-
want to ask Kool-Aid, how would you feel if LeBron was a Piston? No, y'all want y'all big swing, right? Go get the king.
Hey,
Look,
the guy who
he's
sits there
still-
11 to
he's
1
still
every
LeBron.
day, that's his
James
guy.
is already locked into his deal, so it don't come with two of them.
No, it don't. It
Oh,
don't.
okay,
So
so I can't have two LeBron Jameses here.
Bronny will be playing for the Cruise anyway. So shout out to Cruise. We all love
real,
the Cruise.
Hey,
we
speaking
need
of
some
the
help down
Cruise,
there.
we can mention that real quickly before after we come back from our break here. But yeah, we definitely gotta get to this break, guys. What do we got here? Let's do Planet Fitness, then coming back to Art and Jake's.
Yes, sir. Planet Fitness is for everyone. Over 2,700 clubs nationwide with 50 plus in Metro Detroit. Access to the Black Card Spa where you can recover with hydro massage and other innovative amenities. Bring a guest anytime, just $24.99 a month. We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art & Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining.
Finally, life-enhancing LASIK surgery at a price you can afford. Michigan's most experienced eye surgeon, Dr. Yaldo, is offering the most advanced LASIK at just $1,699 per eye, regardless of your prescription. Imagine not just being free from contacts and glasses, but actually seeing better.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Summer nights, cold drinks, and Tigers baseball. Art & Jake's is the place to be. I'll actually be there this weekend, probably on the 4th of July. I'm gonna play a round of golf, and I'm gonna go to Art & Jake's, the location in Washington Township. You won't miss a single pitch with over 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap to keep you refreshed, and a menu packed with absolute fan favorites. Try out the Crunch Time Bites. They are absolutely amazing. Come party with us, grab a Founders, and yeah, go to Art & Jake's. It's a place to be.
It is a place to be. What up, though, people? Crunch Time on Woodward Sports is also a place to be. Shout out to our dogs, Jeff Frady, and Booner.
Shout out. They're on the course right now, I believe. They just sent me a couple pictures. Yeah, they're out on the course.
We actually we have some footage, I believe, from our guy Booner on the course. If you guys want,
let's see it. They're practicing for another match against Neil.
Right.
They got
to. Snap! I'm pulling this up right now.
I will say this too. Jeff and Booner's a good golfer too. Jeff Frady is his improvement over the past year in his golf game is amazing. He's a pretty good player now.
All right. I don't know why that. Oh, that was just an image. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was just a picture. That was a picture. Booner was just flexing a little bit, showing the course
he
they were
was
playing.
just giving us a beautiful picture of the.
Shout out the guys,
great
though.
Course there.
Shout out, man.
Oh, man, Dominic Davis again in the super chat. Shout out to our guy, Dominic Davis. Kool-Aid, do you really think it's just 3 first for us to get Murphy? Troy probably pissed at us and is asking for the guy he drafted in Asar.
It's a good point. I could see him asking for Asar, but we know this is Trey Murphy. We know this is Troy Weaver. This is the same guy who wanted 2 first-round picks for Bogdanovich, and Jeremy Grant. Yeah. This is the same guy. He's look, I would give up 3 first, and there were people in the chat yesterday saying they wouldn't give up 3 first-round picks for Trey Murphy. Guys, I'm telling you, just go watch. And I'm not saying you guys don't. You guys, I know you guys, all of you tapped in. You guys are ball watchers, but go watch Pelicans game, and there's going to be one player that stands out to you, and that's 25 in New Orleans. No. That guy is a ball player. That's your number 2 option right there. He's going to play the 2 for you. He's going to shoot. He averaged 20 points a game 2 years in a row, and I know that's on a bad team, but just because it was a bad team and his usage rate was high doesn't mean he can't do that here in Detroit. This is a really, really good player in Trey Murphy. This move right here, he's not the caliber of player as a Jalen Brown or a Kawhi Leonard like these other teams got in the East, but this is a guy that could put you over the top if you pair him with Cade Cunningham and if you bring Jalen Duren back. I want Trey Murphy so bad, cool.
Yeah, I think, you can look at what established players at the top are, but when you look at some of these guys like Austin Reeves, Peyton Pritchard, and others who they believe are stepping into being that next level, I do believe that Trey Murphy is part of that, and he is due and in line for his payday. You look at the usage; it increased a lot this year for him. And what did he do? His scoring jumped and his efficiency improved. Mm-hmm. Those are things that you like to see. So it proves to you that if you find yourself in a position where you need somebody that can handle the rock, handle the scoring, handle the facilitation, this is something that Trey Murphy did really, really well. Yeah. And he was able to play in multiple different situations throughout his career. He also showed that he could play as an off-ball, as a third player, as a 4th option, as a forgotten option. He's shown he can do that and still maintain his level of production. And so those are a couple different things I look at when I'm looking at a player who wants more. It's what did they do when they got more opportunities? That's what still leaves me very optimistic about Jalen Duren, because during the regular season, his usage jumped way up, and he handled all the pressure. Now, do you have to learn how to counter? Do you have to learn how to play against some of the defense you faced? yes, that's new. And I do believe that the way that he works, the way I've seen Jalen Duren work, to your point, KG, I do believe he'll get better. Just a couple of notes here before we get to Trey Murphy. For the Pistons do sign Ugana Onyeso. That was their second-round pick, who they picked with the 50th. They traded into the second round to pick 53rd. And they are actually holding a press conference for him on Monday. So this just tells you how much they really like this selection right here. Some other news here. Jalen Duren the Pistons continue to push that they are trying to work something out with him. They don't have any intent to sign and trade Jalen Duren at all. They want Jalen Duren right here. I'm going to continue to say this. If it was up to me, I would love to get him in that 35 to 38 million a year range. I believe that factors in what we've seen him do and the potential you believe he can reach. To a degree, it might give you a little bit of a deal if you're the Pistons, and that's why I do believe it's going to be somewhere in that $40 to $44 million range when it's all said and done with the Jalen Duren. But I know we get all of these other side reports, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to come true, but everything at least that the Pistons are saying and that the Pistons are intimating is that they don't care what the price tag is going to be. They don't want to sign and trade Duren. They're not going to, and they want him here. And then when you talk about the Trey Murphy stuff, Kevin Durant, yes, the Pistons were interested and are still very interested in Kevin Durant. So we can talk about both of them. It's just you have to have the deal work out a certain way based on the way that these aprons and caps and things, and in the way that we know Trajan and Co. Mike Blackstone, shout out for giving us your time here at Woodward Sports multiple times. I know you got to speak with them. They're savvy with it. So I can't just be in spiked Kool-Aid mode today.
Right.
There's got to be a little bit of regular blue Kool-Aid as well. And they have worked massively in a lot of different areas. And again, if we do believe in these young players as much as I used to believe in them, and as much as I have waved
I can't believe
that banner
you
for
changed
K,
Kool-Aid.
we had to present things
changed.
a different way. A little different. Vinegar first and a little bit of honey to settle things. But, this team, they are primed to be able to still be a top 4 contender in this thing. But I, like with Caleb, I do believe if you push that button and you get that player, and if it just so happens to be a Trey Murphy, I do believe that you are the unquestioned, I want to say number 1 seed, but obviously you got the returning champs, your New York Knicks. But I do believe that puts your Pistons right up there with them, and you're not having any concerns that some fans have of the Pistons taking a step back like we saw with the Lions after a couple seasons in the playoffs. What do we see them do? They took a step back after having an insane amount of wins, 15 wins, bro, in a 17-game season. This team went out there and did their thing, and then you saw the Pistons go and have a similar type jump from playoffs and good, and we here to now 60 wins, and we running things, and then bonk, you're out in the second round to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who your coach used to coach before. Like that type of stuff. You found yourself up against it, against the brink, against Orlando Magic, and I do wonder if the playoffs went differently. Not even Jalen Duren's performance, just if the Pistons handled things a little bit differently in that first series, if people think differently about this team. But with Trey Murphy, this is a situation where you got multiple teams that are in the mix for him to varying degrees. The Celtics, the Pistons, the Warriors, the Clippers, and Hawks. And the 2 teams that I'm seeing from other reports that are some of the most interested or have circled multiple times, Celtics and the Pistons. So when you see the trade of the Celtics of trading Jaylen Brown, well, what did they receive? Draft picks. That helps them be able to sweeten a deal over what maybe the Pistons are able to do. So when you ask the question of, are those 3 first-round picks, is that what it really takes? Is that worth it? Right now, it's about what the market is dictating. If you believe that Trey Murphy helps your team get to the next level, then whatever the market tells you that cost is draft pick-wise, you have to be willing to part with that to be able to get a player like this. That's what happened with Mikal Bridges. Is he worth 4 first-rounders? Well, today you probably say with a championship, sure. But there was a lot of people who didn't think so beforehand. But if he helps put you over the top for a championship, then that's a move that winds up becoming priceless. And so what they're saying here is the Pistons, and shout out, I think this one, I got to see who this one's from so I can give proper credit, but that the Pistons have consistently circled the wagons on Murphy in trade talks, but they felt initially that the price was too high, but that the asking price right now is dropping from the equivalent of 4 first rounds to 3 first-round picks. And you just have to ask yourself, I think that is more palatable because the first news was he's going for what Mikal Bridges got. 3 first-round picks, you know what? I do think that that's a lot, but I don't think that that's steep for Trey Murphy.
It's not. I mean, look at this contract too. He signed a 4-year, $112 million extension with the Pelicans. He's making $27 million this year, $29 the next year, and $31 the year after that. For a player of Trey Murphy's caliber, I'm all in. He fits. He checks like 3 boxes in your offseason needs: a versatile defender, a guy that could take the load off of Cade Cunningham, and a guy that could frickin' score. And that's what Trey Murphy does. I am 100 times over again trading 3 first-round picks for a guy like Trey Murphy, because I 100% think that is a move that puts you over the top. Because right now, I've said it, I think on paper they're probably the 5th or 6th best team in the Eastern Conference. I think a move like Trey Murphy, that moves the needle a lot for the Pistons.
Yeah, and real quick on Trey Murphy, I mean, I love the move. I think that is definitely the missing piece, and I think that's something that is more likely to be done at the trade deadline. I think that's something where the Pelicans, you let them, suck all year, and because they're going to be terrible. I mean, that's one thing that's a constant, right? Is just the Pelicans not being very
bad
good.
Team. They got some exciting Fears and Queen.
Yeah,
not a good team, though.
Players.
I'm not here to tell you they're a good team.
Yeah, they got good players.
Yeah, they got decent players.
But
they're going to be bad.
Yeah. But it was something I saw in the super chat here. Aaron's 1789 Murphy's contract gives us a 3-year window. By the end of it, we will have more tradable picks regenerating. I thought that was really interesting. And when it comes to a 3-year window, I would say, yeah, I mean, like championship contention window for sure. But I think even at the end of that window, in that 4th year after, you're still going to be in a solid spot as a Pistons team, because I do trust Trajan to build this team the correct way and not sell the farm for somebody like a Trey Murphy. Now, if you were going to, bring in like somebody huge, but sure. But this for now, I think, is a very solid move, and I would like to see it done more so in the by the trade deadline, because I think his value will have dropped even more by then.
Yeah, and I want to go to the chat here a little bit, because I see 2 names that keep getting brought up. One of them being DeMar DeRozan from the Kings.
Go get your homie, Dwayne.
Yeah, there's
Come on,
rumors.
Dwayne Casey.
There's rumors that DeMar DeRozan could be waived by the Kings. I see a couple people in the chat talking about that. Me and Chris Platty were talking about it in the back. He could play. He's older, but he could play. And then another guy, I think it was A Diz, says it in the chat. Kyrie Irving, I think that's dead. I think it's over. I think they want to pair him with Flag. I think they want to keep him there, but that's another player. That was a player we were rumored to be after this offseason.
I
wanted
to
heard
all the trade conversation before Dusty May, and then after Dusty May, it just seemed like it just went away.
For sure. Do you think a guy like DeRozan would come to Detroit thinking, because he's at the tail end of his career, he could still play, he could still be a contributor on a really good team. Do you think, since he's at towards the end of his career, do you think he would come to Detroit, kind of maybe chasing a championship on a cheaper deal?
You saying what? Kyrie? You saying?
DeRozan.
I'm sorry,
DeRozan. He better.
Because if he gets waived, like, do you think he comes here on a cheaper deal, trying to chase a championship with Cade?
Well, that's the thing. Are these players around the league believing that what the Pistons are doing shows that they're trying to win a championship by this year, by this next season? And that's really what the conundrum is going to come down to when you were talking about those types of players. Are they in position to win a ring for you right now? And that's what it comes down to. I wonder, like, even in this panel, like, KG, do you believe the Pistons are in position to win that ring next year? Like, if you're DeRozan and you're looking at your squads, you got Tobias Harris literally leaving the Pistons, and I get it, it's a team that was just in the finals, but he basically put it, or akin to, I don't think the Pistons are trying the way the Spurs are trying.
No, I feel it. If I'm DeRozan, I mean, I am looking at the Pistons as a team definitely on the cusp. I mean, how do you not think they are on the cusp? They went to Game 7 in 2 series. The second Game 7, they got washed. I do agree with that. But it's still a Game 7. You still took a team to the brink. And on the other side of that was the Eastern Conference Finals. So if I'm him, I do look at as the Pistons as a team that maybe if I come bring my talents to, I can help them ascend to a further plateau. But I'm not ready to say that they guaranteed NBA Finals if they were to get a DeMar DeRozan. So it's just one of that.
I agree with you on that one. That's not the pick that sends you over the top.
No,
I do believe he can give you certain elements that we saw from a CJ McCollum with the Atlanta Hawks. A couple big game, end of game moments for him. He helped to stabilize things and bring a little bit of scoring during their lulls. I do believe that if you strike out on getting that secondary player, that you do absolutely need somebody that can do those types of things. Even if it's in spurts, you do need something like that. Tobias, notoriously a guy who doesn't bring that well in the playoffs. You saw how crucial it was to have that vet that could step up. I do believe the Pistons got to make sure they got a player like that. I like what Isaiah Joe brings. I'm under the belief or under the understanding that Isaiah Joe, they believe, has a better ceiling than what he's been able to display right now.
Okay.
And so it's going to be interesting to see if they're just kind of using
Possible
him
starter?
off-ball type stuff, or if there's a situation where he's a guy that you can, hey, let's
Dunk
try and
into
see
the
what's
bench.
going on. I believe that would be
I think you want to
best.
play Duncan with the SAR.
You want to play Duncan with the SAR?
I think I want to play Duncan with the SAR just
Yeah.
because Duncan's not a great defender. I think you're going to want to
who's-
start him.
But that's the
They
thing.
match
I
each other
don't
out.
want-
Well, yeah, who's the better shooter between Duncan and Isaiah Joe? Whoever's the better shooter needs to be out there with the starters.
But I almost like the two-way ability of a guy like
Isaiah
potential
Joe.
of an
Yes,
Isaiah
'cause
Joe
he
in
plays
that starting
defense.
lineup in terms of how we start games. And if Duncan Robinson is somebody like in the playoffs, what did they do? They hunted him.
Yeah.
They hunted, and then what do? You're taking him out the game early,
Right.
And so I understand what you're saying to hide him, because Duncan Robinson is going to get the minutes. He's going to get 20+ minutes every single night. You have to have his shooting capability out there. Now bringing him back, I feel like that writing's on the wall that he's going to start. I feel like if he wasn't going to start, then maybe they send him somewhere else.
Yes.
But I personally do believe that there's a little bit more ceiling there for Isaiah Joe, but he's probably going to have to be somebody that goes out there and takes a starting spot
Proves
away
it.
from Duncan Robinson rather than them just saying, hey, here you go, Isaiah Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Isaiah
Cool
Joe,
name, though.
Yeah, great name.
Oh,
Great name. He's
perfect Detroit
gonna
name.
yeah.
I said that as soon as he came.
Yeah,
bro. I was
perfect
like,
for
that's a
Detroit.
perfect Detroit name.
Perfect for Detroit. But yeah, Isaiah Joe, whether he comes off the bench or not, like this is good. These 3-and-D guys, they're so valued in today's NBA. Like the fact we got Isaiah Joe for essentially Isaiah Stewart, I think that's kind of how that
Technically,
yeah. That is just, and I've said it. I could criticize Trajan because he hasn't made that big move yet. But that Isaiah Joe
Let's
trade
give our
was really
grades
good.
on Trajan Langdon in the next segment.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's do
definitely
that.
Y'all put your grades in the chat as well. Trajan Langdon so far. I want his overall tenure, and then I want his grade on free agency as well.
Yes.
I
Okay.
want
Like
them both because I think it matters. I don't have a problem if people are upset with what's going on right now, but can also state though. But we see that he's definitely been overall good for the Detroit Pistons in the direction.
Because it
of this
needs to be
organization.
some context there.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
lose
Because I don't want it to seem
people
like
are
it's
losing
hating
the
on
plot.
him if we believe that maybe just this offseason, like there are people with Brad Holmes, we were able to articulate. I love Brad Holmes, but this offseason in particular, I don't quite know if he's done enough. Especially when you consider that the draft guru that he was and that they've been able to rely on, they haven't been able to do that as much in their latest drafts.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I want to be able to discuss in this next one, man. Who got to say what up though to Gordon?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, can we take the break? But yeah. Sorry, I was doing something there.
You
Let's
all
talk about
Friday.
Thrive and Mad Packs.
Look at the range
do
of
it.
these
Let me
grades in
tell
the
you-
chat already. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into that. Let me tell you about Thrive. Look, I'm a pouch guy, and Thrive, they're unbelievable. Most people think energy comes in a 16-ounce can full of sugar and neon-colored liquid, but you know better. It's time to upgrade your game with Thrive energy pouches. This isn't your daddy's dip. It's tobacco-free, nicotine-free, mental powerhouse, packing 300 milligrams of clean, smart caffeine, including alpha GPC and L-theanine. No jitters, no sugar crash, and zero bloating. Thrive can be found online at dipstop.com. Remember to use promo code WSN for 15% off your entire order and exclusively at all Market Fresh and Market Square locations. Thrive, clean energy, zero distractions. They just effing work.
Oh, and Mad Packs. Shout out to Mad Packs, the maddest of packs. And they got some packs in that you'll really love, man. In the form of gummies. The Boom Shakalaka 200 milligram hash rosin gummies and the Hilo 200 milligram live resin gummies alongside the Mad Packs extracts, Blizzard packs, pre-rolls, flour, whatever you need. Mad Packs got you covered. So you can get more at Mad Packs or getmadpacks.com. Mad flavor, mad high, Mad Packs.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports. Neil Rule and Sean Belizian wake you up every Monday through Friday on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. That's right, Big D Energy has moved to mornings. Get your morning dose of Neil's tone and Sean's insanity. Weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Two Detroit sports legends coming together for the best Detroit sports morning show there is. Big D Energy, waking you up weekdays on Detroit's #1 sports network. Dan Campbell is in redemption mode.
No, make no mistake. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
And Woodward Sports is here to cheer on the Detroit Lions every snap. Don't miss a moment of Detroit Lions coverage. Follow Woodward Sports on all social media platforms now.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Listen, man, I'm finna bring the fourth in right, and I'm gonna do it with some of these royal jesters from Gold Crown. Y'all know the slogan by now, smoke like royalty, and we're gonna reapproach that. But right now, I'm telling you about the royal jesters, 1.5 grams each, and they are quad infused, which means Keith coated, live resin infused, THCA diamonds, and terpenes all packed into one big, beautiful, luxurious joint. God bless America, man. Michigan made, top tier, no shortcuts. Next time you at the dispo, don't think, just ask for the royal jesters, because remember, if you're gonna smoke, might as well smoke like royalty.
And let me tell you about All Day IPA from Founders. This year marks the 15-year anniversary of Founders Brewing's legendary All Day IPA. It's citrusy, crisp, and refreshing with a perfectly balanced taste. And at 4.7% ABV, it's built to go the distance for the entire game. Get $5 shorts at any Art and Jake's location in Michigan on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And always remember, please drink responsibly.
What up, though? We back. It is crunch time. Shout out to the guys, Jeff Iafredi, a.k.a. Hollywood, and you got Boone and Boone Squad. They're out on the golf course, and we say, what, they're getting ready to kind of get better for the rematch against
Oh, they
Neil
have
Wu?
to. They have to. I mean, I think Neil beat him twice.
Y'all going to have to tell me about this.
Well, I think I wasn't there, and Neil will tell you they got worked. It sounded like the first time Neil and Bomber really took care of business. I think they iced him out. The second time, I heard it was a little bit more competitive, but from what I hear, Neil's like a really good golfer.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good, and I think Bomber is too. They're saying, I mean, hence his
Bomber's
name, he hits
too,
the shit
bro.
out of the ball. Yeah,
Bomber is competitive too. I saw him out there at Mortgage Pros.
Yeah,
he was ready for that action, dog, with the 3-point shooting.
Fun fact: me and Bomber are junior high schools rivals in basketball. We played each other for a couple years.
Oh, and Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
Kool-Aid. You know, I tease you about this, but have you seen Bomber's tape? Bomber got tape.
No, he had a strap. He could shoot it. He could shoot it.
I saw him out at Mortgage Pros. I saw him make a couple nice shots.
Okay,
man.
yeah, you gotta look at his high school tape.
Man, no, he had a strap. I'm telling you about
it.
Oh, bro, Bomber, get out there, bro.
Shout out to Bomber, man.
Bro,
I love the competitive spirit.
We were watching his tape, and I was watching it. I'm like, oh, this is all like home tape, right? I'm like, no, this is from one game. He was like at one game. I think it was at like Lance Cruz or something. It was like 70% of his highlight.
Yeah.
Either one game or like 2 games at the same spot. I mean, he
could hoop.
He
could hoop.
I'm telling you, bro.
He could hoop.
I remember like a high school Andre Karolinko out there.
Man.
Shout out, man. AK-47. Hopefully they don't get us demonetized. It's for Andre Karolinko.
Right.
47.
Yes.
But, hey, I see some moves here. Charlotte. They acquired Dennis, where is it at? Dorian Finney-Smith and 3 second-round picks.
Who we?
I don't even know if they gave up anything. If they're just absorbing him into trade capital because I don't see that there's any other package in the deal.
Look
so
at Finney
Yeah.
Smith hanging on. Shout out.
I
I
know.
thought it was over after
Yeah.
the Lakers. I ain't gonna hold you. I
there
thought
was
it was
a
over after that.
time when I was like, I wonder if the Pistons should, but it's like
he was
you
like
know?
he was not on the realm of John Collins for me, but he
There
was a
was a
guy.
time.
I
he was a
get it.
guy
There was
that
a
was
little
like
time.
he'd fit really good on this
Then he
team.
went to LA and it died. So.
Yeah,
Very
where he was
quickly.
Houston. He was on Houston last year, right? Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, Houston.
because
Yeah.
he
The
was
season
Dallas
before
when I
he was
wanted
with the
him.
Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was on Houston last year.
Yeah.
But I know
Shout out.
we asked the question of the grades for Trajan Langdon. We got still a whole lot more that we got to get into. Swisher Brick, shout out to KG.
Yes, sir.
Preparing some questions, and I know we got to talk. We got to talk summer league because I can't wait. Like,
Yes.
give me the name of the players that you're outside of our Pistons guys that you're like, you know what, we got to be on this player.
Yeah, well, the one I could give you right now, and I'm not going to lie.
Just
he was,
tease the name, and we'll get the breakdown later. Definitely.
Bryce Williams is a guy I'm looking at. Bryce Williams is a guy I'm looking at, and we'll get to that later. But this
wait for the
is
breakdown.
Motor City Cruise last year. I'm looking at his numbers. I'm looking at some tape he could play. I like Bryce Williams.
Okay. Went to a couple of his guys last year.
Yeah, Nebraska guy, Big Ten guy. Yeah, he. Last year, 13.7 points per game, 47% from three. He had a 40-point game for the Cruise last year.
Yep.
He was a 20-point scorer at Nebraska.
You out there enlightening me, man.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, we'll just teasing a little bit.
Are we getting into summer league right now? Or are we
No.
holding
That's
off?
what I'm saying.
Okay,
Wait, no.
all right,
It's a
all right.
teaser, but look at him. He ready.
I teased it, but I got a little
You
excited.
got-
I'm a Bryce Williams
you
guy.
teased it so well.
I got a
Gordon
little
came
excited.
Ready for the action.
Oh, he can't.
I got a little
Oh,
excited.
we're doing this now.
I got excited. He got too excited, man.
But we got to get to these grades because the chat, they put it in there, man. And one of them here, Masha in the chat says he gets a D.
Jesus.
His team is winning from Troy Weaver picks. Look,
All right.
Troy Weaver couldn't win with Troy Weaver picks.
You're right.
So
Like,
I
all
can't
right,
go that
y'all.
far. And y'all know me. I'm probably as ardent a Troy Weaver, stan as there's going to be. There's different things that I know from behind the scenes, certain things that people think is him that wasn't necessarily him.
right.
He didn't get to even hire his coach or make his first draft pick.
How quick
Connect
we
your dots.
forget, huh?
Yeah,
How
like I
quick
was
we
saying,
forget.
Bogey and Joe Harris were
Yeah.
former clients of somebody else in that organization.
Mhm.
So, but Trajan Langdon showed that he, one, has the right assessment on what needs to be on this team, I believe, and he was able to properly augment around these young guys to see exponential growth.
Yeah.
Not just that, he went after specialists too. You look at the way that this assistant coaching staff was put together, he made some picks, and then J.B. Bickerstaff made some picks as well. And I think that that's crucial when you got a president of basketball operations who has a basketball mind like that from his perspective, his voice, and understanding how to bring in the right guys from a financial standpoint to be able to maneuver that cap to make some of the things happen that we've had. Like, you look at Duncan Robinson's deal, even John Collins' deal. If it don't work out, oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. Guess what? Because the last 2 years of the deal aren't even guaranteed, and the Pistons didn't even set it up as it relates to like a team option or anything. They just say, hey, we're just not guaranteeing your money, so you got to ball out, bro.
Yeah.
And then we'll pick that up. Duncan Robinson, we're not guaranteeing your money, bro. The last two years of your deal, we're not. So you have to ball. You got to be something that we say, you know what, we're gonna have you on this squad.
Yep.
And I think that keeps the Pistons. Ultimately, what have we seen all off season? Teams say things like, oh, they got this much cap space, but they could open up to $35 million if they wanted to. They're cooking right now in that regard.
Hey,
so they're still in position to make a big swing.
He might be winning with Troy Weaver's draft picks, but he ain't winning with Troy Weaver's veterans. I tell you that, man. I think that's been the biggest thing with Trajan. He has placed the right veterans around this young core.
What's the matter with Bojan?
No, I'm good. But he's put the right veterans around this young core to get the most out of this young core. So, gotta give it up there.
Gordo, I'll throw it over to you real quick. So if there's any of those grades that we see in there for Troy Weaver, I guess you start to get those. Caleb, what is your grade for Mr. Troy Weaver? First, overall, and then what's your grade for him as it relates to this offseason?
For Trajan?
Yeah, Trajan.
I'd say overall, look, that last offseason was a killer. I mean, sorry, not offseason. That last, and kind of the offseason to an extent a little bit, but that trade deadline last year I was frustrated with that trade deadline. But you look at the trade deadline before, you bring in Dennis Schroeder, who played really good playoff minutes for you.
Got him for free.
And you guys alluded to it. You bring up the THJs, you bring up the Beasleys, you bring up the, Tobias Harrises, you bring up all these veterans they bring in to complement the young core. As overall, I'd probably give Trajan Langdon a B for his tenure. I'd probably give him a B. It would probably be a little bit higher if we had more success in the playoffs. If some of those, like the secondary ball handler thing, which we knew was an issue this year, if that got addressed at the trade deadline, it probably would be higher. But right now, you can't argue with winning 60 games. I'm giving him a B for his tenure right now in Detroit. And then for this offseason, it's a little bit different for me. I'm going C+. C+, B-.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm
going C+ because we
Chat's
had.
going crazy right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're gonna get to some of the grades in the chat for a second. We're gonna get to some of the grades in a second. But the reason I'm going C+, B- for this offseason is because I don't think we got much better as a team. I don't. Look, John Collins is a good player, but how much better is he really than Tobias Harris? Isaiah Joe, obviously a good ad, but the number one thing, and this is the one thing I've been stressing, and we've all been stressing, the number one thing on the checklist has not been addressed yet, and it's a huge team need, and that's that secondary score, that's that secondary star outside of Cade Cunningham. And yes, if Trajan Langdon wins this Jalen Duren negotiation and only gets him for the 32 million, 33, 35 million, somewhere around that range, that's a big score for Trajan Langdon, but you have to go out and make that big move. And if he does, it's an A off season. If you go get a guy like Trey Murphy, if you somehow get yourself into the Tyler Hero
so your grade isn't final
stratosphere, it's not final yet, but right now it is a C+. That's fair. But if he goes and makes that big move, it's an A.
That's fair. So overall, you got B, and then this offseason, C+.
C+, yes.
For me, I'm probably a little bit more Kool-Aid sprinkled on top.
Okay, let's give him the Kool-Aid. Let's sweeten that pot up, man. Come on.
Look, overall, I got him with an A-. And why? Because he stepped in right away after 2 historically horrible seasons and was able to fix the recipe right away to the tune of 44 wins. Brought in Fred Vincent. We hope it pays more dividends this season than it really has. But who knows what it has or hasn't helped. We saw Isaiah Stewart step up and become a better three-point shooter as well, more reliable one. But, yeah, I give him an A- overall. You look at the improvements in the regular season, and they did improve in back-to-back years in the playoffs. If they would have lost in that first round, it might have changed things for me.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of my grade is still reticent on playoff performance or the fact that they didn't completely fall on their face in that first round. So I do give him an A-. I think he's done some good things to show that this core is the right core to build around, and we would have never got there if he didn't bring in those right vets. But as it relates to this offseason, still a little bit higher than your grade, but I do give him a B-. I believe that he's done well, to KG's point and yours, at bringing in the shooting. And I think that he did it at a deal that still allows this team to have its full capability at its windows this year in terms of being able to improve. We don't quite know if that's just getting to the Eastern Conference Finals next year or if that's getting all the way to the finals. But I do believe he has improved this roster. I do believe that he has improved, ultimately, the starting lineup. So when we talk about the New York Knicks, well, we know that they are literally top-heavy. Literally top-heavy. I'm talking about pancakes, everything below the waist on the New York Knicks. But their starting lineup, though, knock out the park, double D's in the building, bro. Yeah. That's what you get with the New York Knicks. And I'm wondering with the Pistons, you see them go out there and improve their starting lineup. And if Cade is who we believe, and if Jalen Duren and Star Thompson take that next level, that next step, they're in prime position to do what they got to do based on what he's done around this team. So B- this offseason, which could change based on what they do or don't do. I'm expecting more to happen. So that's why I'm at a B-. I'm kind of going and hedging the bet. But overall, I do give him an A- overall.
Yes.
Okay. A-? Oh, overall.
Overall, A-, but this offseason, B-, which it could drop or it can raise based on what he does from here.
That's pending. KG?
Yeah. All right, I just want the chat to know I love y'all, but the slings and arrows that y'all about to give me, I promise y'all I don't care. I'm going to go home, I'm going to have my nice barbecue, and I'm going to enjoy my weekend. I'm not going to think nothing about this. But
look, I had some Kool-Aid here, and I was wondering who took it, and I know who took it now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. But these grades are still, rolling grades. They can change. But, overall, I'm with Kool-Aid on everything he said. I'm just going to bump it up to an A because you took over a very, very shit situation. Let's be real here. And you do kind of got to give credit to the ownership for kind of taking that step back, allowing basketball people to come in and do basketball things. And it has worked out beautifully with Trajan. I feel like he has his finger on the pulse of this team and the needs. And to me, like I said, he moves different than any other GM in this city to this point. Going from 14 to 17 to 14 to 44 and then 60 wins, that's a hell of a turnaround. This was a 5-year project. You got it done in 2 years, and now we mad because you fucking can't get nothing done in the offseason when we only been winning for 2 years now. But that's why I would give Trajan an A overall. As far as the offseason, I think it's an A-, and I just go back to the fact that the floor spacing was just as important of a need as that secondary scorer was. Now, this grade can change depending on the totality of the offseason. I do think there's still more that can be done, but for what he's done right now, this team is absolutely improved. Nobody can tell me different, and I think that will, kind of rear itself as we go through the season and the playoffs coming up. But if you are able to get that second score, I think it's an A+. You knocked it absolutely out of the park. And why? Because you showed a sense of urgency, and that's something that any other GM in this town has yet to show us, and they've been in the winning picture, quote, quote, for longer than Trajan has. So that's why I would give him, to this point, an A-. We'll see how it plays out.
A- for this offseason?
Yes, so far.
KG, that's
so
the number
far,
one on the
it's a
chat.
Rolling grade. It's a rolling grade.
So if he goes out and gets the
Trey
guy
Murphy
we
is
want,
A+.
But right now, KG, I can't see. I don't think we got that much better.
It's my opinion.
I know, and I 100% respect that.
No, I'm more so talking to the chat because I already know they. But it's cool. It's my opinion. You can have yours, but I just think that he attacked damn near every need except the secondary scorer. Literally, Chris was just in here like he did 4 out of the 5 things I wanted. Well, I mean, we might not be able to get it all done this year, just seeing how the market shook out. That's all.
And that's fair, 100%. What up, though, Gordo? Your grade as well as the most interesting ones from the chat.
C-. I mean,
Is that this offseason or overall?
No, overall grade first.
Overall grade, B+.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been solid. And then just this offseason, C-. And then in the chat here, let me start off at the super chat here from Shad216. I still believe in Killian Hayes being an elite defender and secondary ball handler on this roster.
He was hooping in the Nets G League last year. He was hooping.
And look, he found his way back in
It's
the NBA,
mainly
right?
been everything in like C, D range. I see a couple of Bs, like DNC ENT gave him a B. Jamoke D+. What else we got in here? Shaw Cardboard D overall.
Yeah, boneless games. I give him a B+ and a B and a B+. So B overall and then B+ for the offseason.
Jerry Miller B-.
Yeah, I think C's and D's are just way too low.
Yeah,
that's not even fair.
We got a $5 super chat too from Tanaj1367. Shout out for the $5. He says Trajan is terrible. Why can't you guys see that? Trading Beef Stew for 2 second-round picks, inexcusable, and last year's trade deadline was malpractice. He traded Beef Stew for Isaiah Joe. He's not terrible. He's not a terrible GM.
Terrible is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But shout out.
Yeah, we got DNC ENT in here. I don't know if we read this one, but he one of our main basketball chat members. He says B, context for show matters, like unlocking your picks that have been locked in trades since we traded for Stu, pivoting from Beasley to Robinson in less than 24 hours. We forget about that. Trading Kevin Knox in a second for Fontecchio, then Fontecchio for Duncan Robinson, getting Dennis Schroeder for nothing. So.
Yeah, those are those moves we talk about. That's why, in general, I'd give him a B.
Yeah,
because those are good moves.
And that's why I probably drank even a little bit more Kool-Aid on it because of that. We saw that those marginal moves, just kind of his mindset being at the helm, helped the Pistons go from historically bad to really, really good, and then putting a league on notice in that next year. So, you know what? Hey, this was fun, man. This was fun. But I want to make sure we got a little bit of time for you to talk to us about Summer League as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's do it. Break or we need to go
break? Let's go to break. Let me tell you guys about Massage
Hit the like
Chair
button.
House. Are you looking to take your relaxation game to the next level? Visit Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair room showroom in the Midwest. Featuring top-tier brands like Infinity and Osaki, this is your destination for premium comfort and cutting-edge wellness technology. Experience the difference with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc and creator of the #1 YouTube channel for massage chair reviews at The Wellness Doc. Book your visit today at massagechairhouse.com or simply scan that little QR code right above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Thrive Energy pouches give me the energy and clarity to find and beat the shit out of every opportunity that shows its face.
Live and direct, I'm back on set action. Create the wave, we cannonball splash 'em. Mic cord swinging, get your head chopped. Point blank, dead stop. 16 bars in a headlock.
Thrive Energy pouches are for the people who actually want to win, not for the crybabies out there who are happy with a participation award. There's zero sugar, so give Thrive a try.
Looking for a career upgrade? Check out Mortgage Pros, the #1 mortgage broker to work for in the state of Michigan. We saw their incredible company culture firsthand at their annual block party. Their team truly loves what they do, and it shows. With 4.9 stars on Google and over 4,000 reviews, their reputation speaks for itself. So if you are looking for a new job, give Mortgage Pros in Troy a call at 248-416-1361. Mortgage Pros, let the pros handle it.
KG.
Oh, and amnesia. Shout out to amnesia. I had a little bit of amnesia right there, but it's the holidays, man. You can't blame me. But amnesia is proud to be available at the top dispensaries across the state with multiple products for adults 21 and up. Their newest launch is the Switch, a 2-gram dual chamber disposable featuring liquid diamonds with 2 chambers and 2 different flavor profiles. You can enjoy the left, you can enjoy the right, or be bipartisan high, as I like to say. But discover your new favorite with the Switch by Amnesia.
Hey, it's been a show. Thank you guys for supporting us today. If you didn't get the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button.
Smash that.
It is crunch time, usually and always, hosted and run by Jeff Freddy and Booner Boom Squad. Today, they are out on the golf course, trying to prepare to take out, you telling me, Neil Rule and Bomarito.
Yes, they have to. They're practicing. They have to get it done. I want to see them come back from one of their golf trips or one of their matches, and they come back and they say, Caleb, we did it. We won. We beat them. I want to see it. I'm rooting for my guys.
You know what? For the boys. Let's rock,
for the
man.
boys.
It's Caleb. It's your boy Brandon Dan, K Detroit Kool-Aid. We got KG on the 1s and 2s and Gordo in the TD space over there. And you know what? Hey, talk to us briefly about what you're looking forward to from Summer League. I will be boots on the ground there covering it. And I want to know, besides just the players that we're looking forward to, Ugonna as well as Obuka Okori, who else should we be looking forward to?
Well, I teased it. Maybe I teased it a little bit too much a segment
Gordon
or two
exploded.
ago. But outside of those two guys, outside of Okori and Onyeso, who I'll get to in a second, Bryce Williams is a guy I'm looking for. He was on the Motor City Cruise last year. He's a Nebraska guy. There you can see is the roster right there. But yeah, Bryce Williams is a guy. He's a catch and shoot shooter. So you could always have those type of guys on an NBA roster. They're always going to help you. You can't have enough shooting, especially in the playoffs. But he was a 13.7 points per game guy last year for the Motor City Cruise. 47% from 3 on about 4 attempts a game. So the volume's not like crazy high, but he's still shooting 47% from 3. He had a 40-point game last year for the Motor City Cruise. So he could put the ball in the hoop. That's a guy I'm excited to see what he could bring to the table in Summer League. And he's around 24, 25.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, what do you know about Bryce Williams?
You know what? Somebody who, when you look at what Dennis Jenkins was able to do in the G League, the type of command he had from a scoring standpoint, that's what makes me a little bit more encouraged about when you're looking at potentially a player who had G League success. And obviously we understand the collegiate and what he can do in the NBA. And that, to me, is what I've liked most about a lot of the Motor City Cruise players. They've been ready to go. You even look at a guy like a Tolu Smith who came up here and absolutely was like, hey, you need me to get rebounds? Well, me see ball, me get ball. And that's what I like about it. When you're talking about Bryce Williams and having a player who I believe that if you took a flyer, there is less wasted opportunities from an offensive standpoint. not just I love young dog Ron Holland, but you looked at and you saw in the playoffs that there were moments and times where he was absolutely unplayable.
Yeah, you got to
I believe
score.
at least during the regular season, you get an opportunity with a player to be able to get a look at who he can be as relates a scoring option from those types of positions. So
yeah, and real quick, because I do want to get to Swisher Brick.
Yeah, no,
I'm very
we
excited for that. But real quick, out of these rookies in the summer league for the Pistons, for Corey especially, the one thing I'm looking at, the one thing I'm honing in on, is seeing that ability to create and make his own shots first hand, because essentially that's the only guy Trajan Langdon has brought in that has the ability to do that. We saw in college, broke ACC records. This guy can flat out play. I'm excited to see also how he play makes as well. I want to see him command an offense, kind of take the keys to the offense, and I think this roster, the Summer League roster, is kind of built for him to do that so the Pistons can see what he's all about. And for Onyeso, we know what he could do on the defensive end. He was a 4-block-a-game guy in college. I just want to see what he could bring to you offensively. Can he be a lob threat? Can he be a guy that could set screens, and is he good on the screen and roll? What is he on, like, that short roll? Where is he going to be able to, play make a little bit like guys like Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart were able to do for you on that short roll, finding guys in the corner, finding guys like Asar Thompson cutting. Obviously, those guys aren't playing in the Summer League, but I want to see what Onyeso could do on the offensive side of the ball, because we know what he could do defensively. He's an elite rim protector, at least he was in college.
And we know now just how much more important it is to see what these players can be, because on the offensive side, because a lot of times we'll pick up somebody for the hustle. That's because we've been down bad. You do need some offensive, not just specialists, but people who know how to operate off of your specialists. So if you're rolling to the rack, I need to know that you can finish.
Yes.
And not smoke the layups, word to Jars and Matt Pax and everybody else that we're associated with. So I am looking forward to seeing who's he going to be, because I liked Tolu Smith, but then there were certain aspects of the offensive game that didn't necessarily allow for his aggression, his defense, his rebounding prowess to be out there long term. And so I am looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring here. And a player like Bryce Williams, the most, I think, translatable skill set is obviously from behind the arc.
Yes.
When you're talking about 35%, and some people say, well, is that really something to write home about? When you're taking 7 attempts per game, hell yes, it is. That's a whole lot of threes, and you're still shooting at 35, 36%. What that does to defenses means they have to stick to you. They can't just say, that player is just out there, I can help off of that player. And if they do, you can definitely be a knockdown shooter. So from that standpoint, when you're looking at the end of the rotation type of a player who, if he's in there, can he provide something a little more than Chaz Lanier? I think that's what's interesting about seeing him on this roster. Because the specialist ability of Chaz Lanier as a 6'4" guard that's from behind the arc, if Bryce Williams does make it into the NBA, it's going to be as somebody who they can rely on being, a third or fourth option in any lineup that he's playing, and you got to knock down your open threes. So that's what I see there. And obviously with Abuko Corey, you're just looking to see, can he be the dynamic scorer? I'm not looking to see if he can play point guard. I want to see him go out there and bust tail. That's what I want to see. Exactly who you are in college. What we need him to be is more than Dennis Jenkins and more than Dennis Schroeder. We like those things. We liked what they brought because it was on the fly, providing something, but you need more. I want to see him give that dynamic ability that he did in college.
I do want to see some of the playmaking too from him, though, just because if you're going to give Cade Cunningham a rest and you don't want to give if you don't want to give Dennis Jenkins the keys to the second unit, I want to see what he could do as a playmaker as well. But I'm excited to see what he could do in terms of scoring, because we know this dude could score. He did it in college.
Hey, just a quick tidbit, Kool-Aid, is it over for Chaz?
You know what?
I haven't heard his name in about a year, boy.
Listen, this is going to be a big summer league for him.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big summer league for him. And I believe training camp, too. It's not just what you do in the summer league, but when these boys come back from training camp, are you working? Because Trajan's already said it, that most of these guys have been working out either at the practice facility or in groups all off season. And the player who's not here on the roster right now was the one player from last year, was the one player who – and he got cut before the season even ended.
Yeah.
He was the one player who I didn't see noticeable improvements from a weight standpoint, from a cut standpoint. Everybody else came back like they're working out, even Marcus Sasser. Yeah. And that was Bobby Klintman, who had all the potential in the world. They signed him 4 years straight out of the straight right away, bro, 4-year deal. Like, when does that happen?
It doesn't.
But now 2 years later, and he's not on the Pistons. So
maybe shouldn't commit that money.
Yeah. But I know we want to get into got a little bit of time, maybe a little overtime for a couple Swisher Brick questions.
Yes. A former Woo Crew special. The name of the game is I'm going to lay out a statement, and you simply tell me whether it's a swish or a brick? And you can give a short, brief explanation as to why you feel that way. But we start with a hot one. Tobias Harris to John Collins is a lateral move, swish, or brick?
Oh, now that's a little rain.
Yeah,
brick.
oh yeah.
That's what that is. That's
Okay.
a break. That's a break. I believe that you're getting an improvement in your starting lineup. You're getting greater versatility. You're getting somebody who is younger and somebody who I believe from a defensive standpoint, I don't believe that he's a world beater on defense, but I believe with this unit, he's going to be somebody a little bit better than what Tobias Harris was, defending fours, defending your bigs and switches and such. Break for me. What up, though?
Mine's gonna be a brick, but it's not that far off. It's really not that far
Okay.
off.
It's a
rimmer.
rimmer, yeah.
Or is it a wedgie?
In and out.
In and out.
In and
Okay.
out.
Okay.
I don't think it's that far off. Number one, I don't think it's that big of an upgrade, and I just think you're losing a little bit of that. And John Collins is a good scorer, but I think you're losing a little bit of that shot creation from Tobias Harris. And I know Tobias Harris does it in different ways. Like we talked about it before the show the other day. Like he does it in different ways. He does it in the low post. It might not seem like shot creation, but there were possessions where he took the load off of Cade Cunningham. So it's not necessarily a lateral move because I think John Collins is a little better player than Tobias Harris, but I think you're losing some with Tobias. Losing him.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Jamoke said it best in the chat. It went in, but it hit the backboard.
Yeah, sure. And I didn't call bank. And I didn't call bank. And I didn't call bank. And I didn't call bank.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, listen, I do think it's a good move, and I think John Collins is marginally better at things that this team needs, but ultimately, you're not taking a massive step forward. Like you're just shuffling up a little bit. Like you're not doing too much. So I mean, I do like the move, and I like that you're getting younger, and that he gives you, he'll have a few solid years. Like, listen, I like John Collins a lot, but like I said, I think his skill set and what Tobias previously brought, not a big move.
Mm-hmm. I will say this though.
Okay, go ahead.
Your front court now, both are pick and roll lob options, and John Collins is a bona fide pick and pop option.
Yes, the catch and shoot, something we're not familiar with in this
So
time.
imagine if they
gonna
learn
learn
double big pick and roll. But imagine if Cade's coming and they both set like they used to do for Chauncey and Rip with Ben and Rashid.
Kool-Aid, I love
They
you,
can
bro.
run a few more of those types
Educate
of sets.
the people, man. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as y'all thinking. You'll see. Y'all see. It's a brick for me. Clearly, y'all absolutely cooked on that. So I'll just go with, I agreed with everything Kool-Aid said on that. Jalen Duren will be a Pistons starting center opening night, swish or brick. Jalen Duren will be the Pistons starting center opening night, swish or brick.
I'm just gonna say swish. I think they get a deal done. I think with the newest report, and again, like the market for Jalen Duren went down. The Celtics just re-signed Kata. They signed Mitchell Robinson. That was a potential suitor.
Yeah.
The Lakers signed Walker Kessler. That was a potential suitor. Who knows what excuse my French? Who knows what the fuck the Kings are doing? They're the Sacramento Kings. Who knows what they're doing? And yeah, I just think the market for Jalen Duren is it shrunk. So yes, I do think the Pistons are going to get Jalen Duren back on a team friendly-ish deal.
I say swish. I don't know how team friendly it might be, but I will say swish definitely.
That's a swish, but his brick or his agent is a brick.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That contract he got for Tari Eason was disgusting. The only two, I'm sorry, the Tari Eason 5 for 81. That's a disgusting contract, and I will say I'm sorry, I can't remember the agent's name. Jalen Duren and Tari Eason are the only two NBA players he does. Everybody else, it's all football. AJ Green was a name I saw he represented.
Yeah.
Can't think of any more on the top of my head, but if he only got 5 for 81 for Tari Eason, we'll see what we get for Duren.
That is crazy, but I do think this is an easy swish at this point because the market is dry. It's a desert out there, so we will see Jalen Duren as a Piston. Number 3, Trey Murphy will be a Detroit Piston, swish or brick. Call your shot.
It's a wedgie.
Call your shot. No, ain't no wedgie.
You know what it is? It hit the back iron and it's stuck. It sat right there.
Cop out.
They forgot
is
to
a
turn the
cop-out
back
answer.
ball off and it's stuck right there.
Cop out.
Not that we got to get the stick to get it out, bro. Kool-Aid,
Yep.
we need a definitive, man. Come on, man.
All right,
Is
well,
it
they
in or is
came
it
out
out?
to get the ball. They hit the stick. It rimmed around and then out.
Okay. Damn.
I think I'm just gonna say, man, This
Call
might
your
be
shot.
Jalen Duren playoff brick because nothing good ever happens to us in Detroit,
Damn.
and nothing good ever happens to us in Detroit, and I just can't I just can't do it to my mental to have this expectation that we're going to go and get Trey Murphy. Nothing good ever happens to us in Detroit. I'm just gonna say a brick. I'm sorry, even though I want him
I'm
so
seeing
bad.
Swishes in the chat right now.
As
Everybody.
young Justin would say, clang. That thing ain't going nowhere, man. Knowing Troy Weaver, bro, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
Troy Weaver and I think Joe D is over there calling some shots too. So
Yeah.
not working well with us, but I'll just go ahead and say Swish because I think Trajan's still cooking.
go.
Kevin Herter
There we
can't be
go.
on a
There
3-year
we go,
contract for no
KG.
reason.
I needed to hear
telling
it,
you.
KG.
I
needed
got
to
you,
hear it.
man. I got you. Red Velvet to the Pelicans confirmed. All right.
Yeah.
The last two, we gonna try and go as quick as we can, but these two are a little bit.
Smash the like button, y'all.
We gonna find out people's
round.
hypocrisy. We gonna find out people's hypocrisy right now. The Pistons are presently constructed, one playoff round better than they were last year. Swish or brick?
Brick. You didn't get the secondary score. That's a huge knock on your team. You don't have it. You don't have your
They're
secondary
not
score.
one round better.
No, they're not.
They're not Eastern Conference.
They are not
Final.
an Eastern Conference Finals team as constructed right now.
And
no
no business.
They are not.
What about you, Kool-Aid? I see you debating over there. You on the desk? Unless you want Gordon to go first, we can let Gordon go first. Not with the hat move.
Hey, you know what?
My
I will
eyebrows
say-
are emoting
Like Terry
right now.
Crews shaking his titties.
I'll
like-
say right now, guys. I think brick. I don't think as
Whoa.
constructed right now. I have a lot of questions also with the way that JV Bickerstaff puts together these rotations. I gotta see these pieces play
He
together.
went a completely different way.
I mean, yeah, no, for sure. I'm not positive, so I'm gonna go brick.
Okay, Kool-Aid. Back to you.
I believe that they are one round better.
Thank
and
you,
I'm going to
Swish.
say this, Swish. I'm going to say this. I believed that they had the necessary to get there this year, but they dropped the ball in a couple games.
Yeah, they did.
As currently constructed, and that's where I'm saying.
Assuming they have Duren too as well. That's what that means.
Yeah. So I do believe that they are one round better, but just like the Detroit Lions, we're just a sniff away from a Super Bowl. They have not been that close.
I think it's because the East got so much better.
Yeah, the East is.
So
I
the
mean,
water level rose.
I mean, you might play a better team than Cleveland in the second round.
Yeah,
It did. We need
That's
to see
true.
how
you
it's
might
gonna play
play
out.
a better team than
Atlanta Hawks
Orlando
are
in the first
rising.
round.
Atlanta Hawks are rising. They're back. They
Yeah.
cut their bait with Trey Young.
Yep.
How long have I been saying that?
For
Cut Trey
years.
Young
You
and
like
watch your
Flemings
team
too,
float.
don't you?
Yeah,
And
I
now
actually
they're
like the
floating.
Hawks now.
They're
Cum buckets came in there and did
real.
work.
They're well built, bro.
You like Flemings too?
Yes.
Yes, I like Flemings.
Yeah, the Hawks.
I think he
are-
fits them
and
perfect.
What Jalen Johnson is Cade like
Yeah.
realistically.
You like Atlanta, don't you?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all already know how I feel about this. I do think they are one round better. They were one game away from it, y'all. They are one game. I'm telling you, if you had an Isaiah Joe or Okori on this team last year, I think that would have
They were
benefited
a
you.
9-point
Let alone a
lead.
John Collins. If you had a John Collins, I mean, Tobias was out there holding you down. John Collins would have did way better in that
They were a
spot.
9-point lead and 2-minute stretch away from being in the next round.
Thank you. So I think they are one round better with the moves. But the last one and the most important one, if Trajan Langdon doesn't land the second scorer this offseason is a failure. Swish or brick.
Go ahead,
Call
Kevin.
Well-
your shot.
Well, see, I gave him. I'm giving him
this
a.
what it- This is why I did it like this. People's hypocrisy finna come out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Swish. Swish. I think it's a failure. You did,
Ooh.
I
Okay,
mean,
stand on
I
it.
feel like a broken record when I keep saying it, but the number one thing on your checklist, you didn't check off.
Okay.
And to me, that's a failure of an offseason. If you don't go out and get that second fiddle for Kate. If you don't go out and get
Okay.
that, I don't think you
I
improve
respect
that
it.
much as a team.
You stand on
I
business.
see
I respect
Aaron
it.
in the chat says swish. Dante says brick. Big Wing says swish. I know already what Jamoka's gonna do. He put it in all caps. Swish. Like, golly, man. And you know what? I'm seeing Dad with Tourette shout out. He says potential swish. But Jerry, there you go. A brick. I think I'm gonna go with a brick, bro.
You gonna go with a brick?
Let me.
All right. Go ahead. We got time.
I mean, guys, you're not that much better of a basketball team right now. You're not. Like, come on, Kool-Aid, tell them how you feel.
I gotta go to brick, man.
Okay.
Gotta go to brick.
All right. That's fair. Gordon,
What was the question?
if Trajan doesn't land the second scorer this offseason is a failure. Swish or brick?
Swish. Wait, off season?
Yes.
As a
Oh no,
whole
Brick.
failure?
As
So
a whole.
I think if you can do something at the trade deadline, then
Look at
it's
Anthony.
1,000% a swish. You
Yeah,
know,
there you
it
go.
might it might rim around a couple of times, like we've been saying, but
I'm not that patient, though, Gary. I want it now.
Yeah, we
I
all
want
do.
it now.
Detroit
Yeah,
fans,
welcome to
I want it
Detroit.
now,
We
I
all
want it
want it
now.
now.
Patience should be your number one virtue. Come on.
Yeah, and I see Anson. I think he's fighting a good fight over there. We already know how I feel about this. I don't. I mean, it could. It depends, man. It depends. But overall, I think this is a brick, bro. If he don't land that second score, I do still think there's opportunities, like you said, the trade deadline. Also, next year, next free agency. I know y'all don't want to hear that right now, but I'm just telling y'all these are the facts. Trade is going to be here for the foreseeable future. I do like how he's moving. He has a sense of urgency. We'll see how it plays out. That's it.
And hold on, Jamal. I get what you're trying to do here, but no, Batman doesn't need Robin. He said even Batman, as great as he is, needed Robin. No, he allowed Robin to exist.
Exactly.
And the thing is this, though. Is Cade that guy? Is Cade that guy? I believe that when you look at the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson, he was a Batman that allowed some Robins to exist.
Yes.
We saw what this team was the previous couple years when they did rely even that much more on the core and the depth and the team around them. They kind of simplified things and just let Jalen Brunson go out there and literally punch whatever team was in front of him in the sweet spot literally every single round, bro. I told Anton this. I didn't even want to have to set up the Krispy Kreme the way I had to for Jalen Brunson. But if Cade is like that, that does change the trajectory of all of this, in my opinion.
And here's a thought, and I've talked to you about this in seasons past. If Cade just becomes a slightly better three-point shooter, I think the Pistons will benefit greatly.
Nobody's ever done it themselves, so nobody in the NBA has ever done it themselves. Joker didn't do it himself.
I
Giannis
understand
didn't
that.
do it himself.
I understand that.
Darko did. No, I'm just
Right.
All right.
No,
all right.
First year, put the team on his back.
I think that's a good place
How
to
many
end
rookies
off.
have done this?
Right.
How many rookies?
Well, see ya.
All right. Well, see you later. Wrong show. Shout out, man.
Shout out to Jeff. Aya Freddy, a.k.a. Hollywood. Shout out to Booner Boone Squad. Those guys holding it down on the golf course, getting better each and every day so they can take out the evil empire of Neil Rule and Bomarito. Shout out to those guys, man. But Caleb, you did a hell of a job, man. Thank you for putting
Putting Green champion. Stop playing. Putting Green champion.
And still on business.
Yeah.
Shout out, man. Shout out, man. And over here in the Thitty booth, we got Gordon, man. Great job today, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. And hey, you can catch me again in the titty booth from 2 to 4. So shout out, guys. Check out the Braylon Edwards show coming up right after this.
Let's rock, man. We got KG running sounds. What up, though, brother?
It's like riding a bike, man. It's good to have my boy Kool-Aid back on the desk, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And he's going to stay on the desk because Bray's not coming in. So
Damn.
double dose of this.
Damn. Got stuck with the word.
There we go.
Hey, look, second one,
Got
there's
stuck
no
with the word.
promises, yo. There's no responsibility.
It's all there's
for
no
me.
promises.
I
I'm
might be
leaving.
flipping across the floors and the cameras and everything, bro. We about to have some fun here. But this has been fun. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. This is crunch time. Y'all better smash the like button on the way out.
Smash
and
that.
make sure that you are supporting Woodward Sports and all that you do. Shout out to y'all.